Westmar College football. It's good to be home after the road trip to Fremont last weekend. The Eagles come in at 2-0 tonight. It's the Dana Vikings coming to town as the Vikings come in 15th rated in the NAI Division II ratings. A 2-0 football team with one of the best college NAI Division II quarterbacks in the country, and Alan Pogue. Keith Brown back Mike's side after a week off, trying to recoup from a little bout with pneumonia. Good to have you back, Browning.
Well, it's good to be here, and what a game to come back on, I guess, and as last week's would have been too. But this is an interesting matchup and one we've been looking forward to since last year. And of course, watching Alan Polk, and it's going to be interesting to see how Westmar can face him and try and stop this high-powered offense Dana has.
Well, the Eagles are coming off one of their more impressive road victories in the last couple of years. A big trip down to Fremont last Saturday night that saw them beat the Midland Warriors 26-14. They did it with Marcus Hancher at quarterback. I don't know what more you have to do to keep your job. 226 yards, 2 TD passes, the longest in Westmar history. Engineered a 26-14 win and no turnovers, but yet he's taken out of the quarterback slot and over to the secondary. But all joking aside, actually, it's Kelly McClintock healthy again, and they need his leadership today. Marcus Hancher is a good leader over in that secondary, and they're going to need all hands on deck in the secondary today.
Well, that's right, Danny. Of course, that's a coach's decision who plays where, and they call the shots, but I think it's a defensive move. They want to strengthen up the secondary, and Alan Pogue, as we've seen the past few years now, can throw the ball and throw well and run the ball well too, and he's an all-around quarterback, and they want to have the strongest defense as they possibly can, best 11 they can put out there to stop him, and they're going to have to be out there every play. So they wanted Marcus on defense, and I think it's a good move. He knows the defense, and Kelly's healthy. He knows how to run this offense, so that's where they should be.
Well, there is, speaking of defense, another young man making his collegiate start today. It's Chad Shuck, a freshman out of Denison. He'll get a start at one of the defensive tackles, or at least that's the word that we had prior to game time. He'll be starting in place of Dan Krotzel, who has been playing hurt and got dinged a little more down at Fremont. He'll probably see action today. We see big number 75 along the Westmar sidelines as we speak of Dan Krotzel. But Chad Shuck has been playing well, and it looks like he's going to be the first freshman to see extensive playing time.
Well, that's right, and we talked about that the first game, that's going to happen throughout the season. It's an experienced team, but there's going to be some freshmen that move up sometimes because of injuries and fill in, and he's got a tough game here to fill in. He's going to be trying to chase a very speedy quarterback at times, so there's going to be some real pressure on him here today, but it's good to see these freshmen start to work in as the season progresses and watch them develop, and they can sure use them out here.
Anytime you talk about a team with a good passing offense like Dana has, you always hear the defensive coordinators talking about we've got to get a pass rush. That's going to help the secondary out today. However, at Alan Pogue is difficult to get a good rush on because he scrambles so well.
Well, that's what I envisioned as I remember even last year's game. He hurt him so many times with he'd drop and stand in a pocket, and the pass rush went on around him. That was good pass blocking, and it was the scrambles that, to me, several third and long situations, and he'd scramble and get 15 yards and really seemed to break the back of the defense several times. So you're right, he's tough whenever he's got the ball, and of course he gets it every play. So he's a real adept, strong passer. He's got a strong arm. I've been watching him warm up, and there's a pretty good wind out here, but I don't think that's going to bother his arm at all. But it's his running and scrambling, and I think is kind of the third dimension of this offense that he gives them that's going to be tough to stop.
Well, looks like we're set for the national anthem, and then we'll play football.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perils of fight o'er the we're so gallantly streaming, and the rockets we crash, summons bursting in air, give forth to the night
that we could speak about, and this again is in regard to trying to shut down Alan Pogue, because he definitely is going to hurt you at times today. As Paramount, the offense gets some good long drives, keeps the defense and Alan Pogue offensively off the field.
Yeah, I guess that's a theory that any defensive coach is going to say, or offensive coach, that he can't score points, he can't run that offense if he's over on the sideline watching his defense on the field. So Westmar is going to want to have some long sustained drives and some of those that just grind it out, take time off the clock, and keep the defense fresh and rested, and hopefully they'll come out and stop them and cause them to punt and keep our offense on the field as much as they can.
Well, the Eagles are apparently going to receive the opening kickoff to be going toward the west end zone to open things up this afternoon. Kicking off for the Nana Vikings, going to be Mark Weber, a 180-pound freshman, or sophomore, I should say, out of Kearney, Nebraska. Rob White, Todd Skolton, the NAI District 15 Player of the Week, offensively back to receive the kickoff. And we are just about set to get this thing away. The renewal of the Dana Westmar series. And Skolton going to take it at the 10 to the 15 to the 20, 25, and out to near the 30. And that's where the Eagles are going to bring on the offense and start things out here this afternoon. Westmar with a 2-0 record, wins over Buena Vista here down at Fremont, Nebraska against Midland a week ago. Rob White and Todd Skolton will be the wideouts. Wayne Spearing and Jeff Woleisen will be the tackles. John Barton and Tim Pauley the guards, and Craig Larson the center. Tim Shipley starts at tight end. Kelly McClintock at quarterback. Charles Hill and Dwayne Hobart will get the start in the backfield. Kelvin Pierce closer to 100% health, still suffering from that hip pointer. Suffered 2 weeks ago. He'll see a lot of action here this afternoon, though. Just isn't quite ready to start the football game. Out of the I formation and a wide slot to the right. Pitch out, Charles Hill. Hill going to be over the 30, down at about the 32-yard line. Going to get a couple or possibly three. Say second down at about 8 to go. Charles has run for over 100 yards, almost 200 yards in the opener, 159 yards a week ago on 38 carries. That's a big day.
That's a lot of work, Danny. Anytime even over 20 or 25 is a big game, so I'm sure he might have wanted to get in the wheel pro when he got home from that game, but he's the kind of guy, he's having his big senior year, and he's going to want the ball.
Kelvin Pierce is in there now to team up with Charles. Hobart out of there, split receivers to both sides, kind of a pro set. McClintock going to go straight ahead. Hill going to get nothing. He's stacked up. It's obviously a good high-scoring Dana football team, but defensively, I think this may be one of their best, and that may be one of the underrated parts of this ball club from Blair, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, and that's part of winning, Denny. You got to be able to stop the other team, and obviously they've scored more points, but they're a good, quick team, and they're in a similar situation as Westmar. They're getting some experience in there over the years, and the players just keep getting better every year, and they look quick out there, and it's part of their winning attitude, too. They pursue well, and they just want to win out there and do everything they can, too.
Well, we're going to see how healed up Kelly McClintock is. The passing situation on 3rd and 8 from the Westmar 32, back to pass, rolling right, taking a look, going down and out, hits Shipley on a crossing pattern. Shipley's got him a first down to the 42. You don't run a better pattern than that just to get the first down yardage.
That's right, and what a nice timing pattern. There was a little bit of confusion out there, quite a few people, a lot of bodies to throw that ball through, and it threw right into that wind, too. We talked about the wind, and you got to keep a nice tight spiral against it, and like you said, got just the yardage they need and got a first down.
Probably going to see more of a controlled passing attack today out of the Eagles as opposed to going straight down the field with the attack last week with Marcus Hancher. Got Hobart in there at fullback, playing the up back in the I. Charles Hill in that tailback spot. There's Charles, big hole off tackle, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35 and out of bounds into Dana real estate at about the 37-yard line. I know Charles, when he was named NAI District 15's Player of the Week after the Buena Vista game, gave a lot of credit to the downfield blocks by the wide receivers, and we saw some more of that right there.
No, that's right, and that's what it takes to make those kind of breaks, and also Charles has got the leg strength, the leg drive. You could see it there, several arm tackles that really didn't even phase him. You look at him, you think he looks a little slow maybe, but by golly, he'll run right through those blocks or the tackles that guys are lunging out at him, and doesn't stop him a bit. And he got a lot of strength, and boy, that pays off.
1st and 10 to the Dana 37. That was a 21-yard gain. Play action. McClintock keeping stiff arm, losing ground. Now he's back to about the original line of scrimmage. Run out of bounds for the Vikings from the secondary by Tom Bolton. There's a Sioux City East kid. 2 of the Bolton brothers play. Bobby on offense and Tom at cornerback, one of the returning starters from the defensive team that played against Westmar down in Blair a year ago. 13:06 to go in the opening quarter. No score, but the Eagles are on the move. Hobart back in, and we've got Kelvin Pierce out of there. Ball on the 37-yard line. Just did get back to the line of scrimmage. From the I formation, two split receivers to the left side, the wide side. Clinic going to get a Hill. Hill going off tackle. He's inside the 35, about the 33-yard line. And up to make the tackle for the Vikings from the defensive line, it's going to be Brent Westmar.
Nice little pickup there, a little trap right up the middle, and Hill was right behind the block and got a nice little 4 or 5 yard gain there.
Going to bring up a third down at about 6 to go. Gain of 4 on the play. Rob White going to flank wide left, and Todd Skolton going to split wide to the right side. Hobart and Hill split behind quarterback Kelly McClintock. McClintock straight drop back going down and out. Shipley can't get it. Pass was wide of the mark. Shipley was open. And again, he just ran down beyond the first down sticks. It was destined only for the first down yardage.
That's right, and that was a little wider open even than the last pattern they threw. The defense was further off, and he's wide open, but just a little overthrown.
Well, Kelly McClintock still in the huddle. Are they in 4-down territory? 4th and 6. Apparently they're going to go for it. Here comes Kelvin Pearson and Hobart coming out of there. 4th down, they're going to need 6 solid yards for the first down, and an early confidence builder against this Viking football team. Westmar coach Randy Smazel shaking the dice. Back to pass, straight drop back. McClintock giving ground, flips it out here to Pierce. Pierce in trouble, down he goes. A big loss in the play. I don't think that fooled too many people. Mike Hansen for the defensive end spot from New London, Iowa. That's my old football conference in southeast Iowa, and he came out there, read it perfectly.
Well, that was, Denny, and I think that's what you said. He had him was on Pierce all the way, a man-to-man, and just followed him out and made the big break there. That's field position loss there, I guess. A punt would have put him down, and that's one of those decisions that the coach has to make where they're going a 4th and long like that, and that backfired on them.
Alan Pogue in their quarterback. The Vikings take over at their own 45-yard line. There's the give. This is to Brian Mushel, who is really giving them the element of running the football this year to go along with the passing of Pogue, and he's going to carry into Westmar Real Estate to the 46-yard line. Going to be a gain of about 8-9 yards there. This Brian Mushel's a sophomore out of Council Bluffs, 170-pounder. They tell me he is averaging over 100 yards a game, and he's had a good start to the season. And boy, you get somebody who can run the football to keep the defense honest, and that's going to make Pogue even better.
Oh, that's right. It just opens the offense up that much more.
2nd down and about 2 to go for the first down. There's Pogue in the keeper in the option play, and Pogue going to carry to the 41-42-yard line. Robert Johnson up to put a lick on him. Be good for the first down. And normally, if you got a kid with the talent of an Alan Pogue, you don't want him running the football that much and making fair game for the defense to make hits on. But this is a tough kid, and they don't mind running with him because he's that talented.
Well, yeah, and he's so talented at it. That's one of his strong points is his running, and they're going to go ahead and put him in the option, and I'm sure he wants to do it too. And we saw there how comfortable he is in the option. It's tough to run and do that, but he sure handled that nice little play there.
Coach McKillop has him set in a pro set eye. Alan Pogue calling the count. His senior year out of Stromsburg, Nebraska. There's giving a Mushel again. A Mushel inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. See Wayne Udick getting up off the top of the pile. Down underneath, I believe, was Chad Shook, the freshman out of Denison, that made the first hit. Picked up about 2 on the play. It's going to be 2nd down. They'll need 8. Ball just inside that 40 at about the 39-yard line. No score, 10:55 to go in the opening quarter. The sun's coming out brightly now, and it's hopefully going to turn out to be a nice afternoon. Hope the rain holds off. A lot of rain clouds coming and going. Back to pass, heavy rush. Robert Johnson on a blitz. Oswald almost had him. And there's the throw complete downfield to Terry Barber, his tight end. I should say McLeod almost had him, and he lost the tackle for a sack in the backfield. And then Barber found an opening and was there to make the reception. First down to the 21-yard line. That's going to be a gain of about 18 yards. There's that element of Pogue right there that's so dangerous.
So quick, Danny. There's not very many defensive players out there that are near as quick as him other than maybe the defensive backs. And he's so hard to get a handle on. It looked like they had him sewed up. Two Westmar guys are in deep and still could get out and make a nice completion.
Well, McLeod had him hemmed in. You got to contain a kid, but then he didn't make the tackle. A little early movement over there on Dana's right side, Westmar's left side. So let's see who went first. We see the offensive tackle for Dana, Derwin Roberts, slapping his headgear, and apparently it's going to go against the Vikings. This is a big offensive line for the Vikings. Their tackles are 260 and 265. Their guards are 250 and 260. Their center is a very lightly built 210, but they're big people.
Yeah, they've got some big linemen up there, and that a lot of times you like that size for pass blocking, and we'll see how they handle. They appear to be, well, they're not fat guys. A couple of them are some big, tall, rangy people. So
1st and 15 for the 26. Pogue rolling left, throws left, of course, throws out here to his fullback, Craig Will Willering, and the Council Bluffs sophomore is going to make the catch for a gain to about the 16. That's going to be good for almost 10 yards, and it's going to bring up a 2nd down at about 5 to go. I think that, again, is why Pogue's so hard to stop. He uses everybody in a pass pattern. You got so many people to cover out there. It's hard to get pressure on him.
Oh, that's right, and he's so mobile. He can get out there where he just had a wide open view right there, and of course he was going to his left side. Made a 10-yard pickup there, and he's tough to stop, even get a hand on him.
Dan is going to line up in a power I formation now. Will Weirding is in there. There's Mushel going to get the carry for the tailback. 10-5, touchdown. Mushel going to get in to score. A little misdirection there, trap inside, and boy, that opened up.
Well, that's right, and a lot of eyes are on Pogue, and they did. They just brought back into the grain and really opened up downfield, and pretty tough little drive here for Danny. They really came downfield, had the wind behind them, and I think a big mistake on Westmar allowed them to have that good field position to start off with.
16-yard gallop there by Brian Mushel, the sophomore out of Council Bluffs. They didn't rush for 100 yards last year, and Alan Pogue was their top rusher. Mushel's going to take some of that pressure off of Pogue to be a more important element in the rushing game. Here's the point after by Jade Wagner, and that one's through there. 7-0 with 9:16 left to go in the first quarter here at the Lamar's Community Field. Dana in front.
Should never, 4th and 6, he should never do that. Give him the ball and makes it an easy drive.
The roll of ketchup is on.
Yeah, didn't take long.
Back here in Lamar, Iowa. We just had explosion.
Okay, they got the.
Just seems like it makes the offense roll a lot better. So, offense is going to have to get some good first downs here and grind it out.
Again, Kelly McClintock back at quarterback. Still has a little stomach problem, but it's healed considerably from that opener when it was injured in the Buena Vista game. Pulled some stomach muscles. Pearson Hill in the backfield, split behind the quarterback McClintock. Quick pitch to Pierce. Pierce going to get outside. So far, I've been kind of impressed with Dana's quickness to get to those flanks.
That's right, Danny. That's what's jumped in my mind after the first play was how they're hustling, and this overall team speed seems pretty apparent here so far. It's a little easier when the other team's running into the wind and you're running with it, but right now they look real quick and they're really pursuing well.
Yet there was a gain of 4 there, and it didn't look like there was a whole lot of running room. Got out to the 45-yard line. Boy, this Dana team has changed in appearance from the days when you were playing back in the 70s. They used to have little blockbuster running backs and not a very good football program.
Normally the easiest team on the schedule, we used to think.
Going to the wishbone now. There's the pitch. Kelvin Pierce. Pierce, good juke step inside, but there still isn't any running room further outside, and he's dropped to the line of scrimmage, and a 3rd and 6 coming up again for Westmar College. There's that pursuit again, that quickness on the defense.
Boy, it was really apparent there. It looked like he made the move to get outside and take the corner, and looked like he was going upfield, and there were 2 or 3 Dana defenders right on top of him, and that was the wide side of the field. So they're doing a great job. They're going to make Westmar play up the middle, I think, here today.
Randy Schmazel said something interesting this week. He said the first 2 games we've had to do so much adjusting once we got into the ball game. Made a comment that said, I would think that'd be the fun part of coaching, but he says it makes it a tough Saturday afternoon, but it looks like they got some more adjusting to do here today to try and find something that's going to work. McClintock rolling right. Lots of time. Now the pursuit's there. Now McClintock runs. Kelly looking for the first down stick, and I don't believe he quite got to. Now they got a late hit, and that'll give him the first down. Somebody took a cheap shot out of bounds at the quarterback McClintock, Al Meyer, junior out of Buffalo Center, Iowa, and that's going to be a costly penalty for the Vikings.
Yeah, sure will, Danny. It'll just tack yards onto the, look like would have been a first down anyhow, and they're just going to go right on downfield. And boy, that's free yards, and that's something that shouldn't be done. That's a mental error, and he knows it.
Yeah, he did have the first down. I believe it said he was going to come up a little short. It was hard to tell as he ran into the Westmar sidelines where he went out, but apparently he would have had the first down, and now 15 more going to be tacked on to the end of the play, and that's going to move the ball down to the 31-yard line. Well, we haven't seen the last of the scoreboard being lit up here this afternoon. 33-30 the score last year down at Blair. A field goal with 8 seconds to go lifted Dana to the victory in that one. And we're going to see, I think, a lot of offense here again this afternoon. That was a wild back-and-forth seesaw battle last year. And Alan Pogue definitely had a say before it was over, throwing for 330 yards and a couple of touchdowns. He's thrown for 5 touchdowns this year and run 3 in himself, so he definitely is a key factor in their scoring offense. There's Hill up the middle. He'll be inside the 30, or inside the 30 at about the 29. And Tommy Boldenau-Meyer up there to make first contact, and Mike Hansen out of New London was there for the defensive end spot. Everything Leo McKillop does has certainly a pro flavor to it. He coached some USFL football, and I believe up in the Canadian Football League, and he is a Notre Dame graduate, assistant in Notre Dame. He plays the 34 defense that the pros are so faithful with these days, and he runs definitely a pro set offense based around a passing attack. Second down at about 9. There's to get a Hill again. Hill behind the Hobart block is going to keep those legs turning and driving inside the 25 to about the 24-yard line. Good second effort there by Hill.
I don't think he's going to get credit for the second effort. There's an official back up field saying his knee was down. I don't know if it was or not, but well, Charles is going to try and roll everything out of them yards and get the tough ones, and that's what he's going to need to do against this quick Dana defense.
Got a 3rd and 7 coming up now for the Eagles. 7:10 to go in the opening quarter. It's 7-0 Dana. Here comes Blaine Bell into the ball game, and they're going to get Rob White out of there. Blaine will be bringing an offensive play in. They've got a lot of bright prospects for Blaine Bell. He hasn't been used much in the passing patterns, but they say he's going to be a good one at the wideout. They're going more to Skolton and White because of their experience in the early going. There's a give to Hill. Hill gets outside. He's to the 20. Got a first down at about the 18-yard line. Yeah, that fooled, I think, Dana, because they were looking pass, and he gave him a little play action to the left, and then came back with Hill to the right.
That's right, a pretty little play and a nicer job of running by Charles Hill, but there were some people getting knocked down, and that was kind of a surprise. That's been a standard drive so far. Westmar has been so many 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 yards today, and they decided to keep it on the ground, and they got a nice first down and a big important pickup here.
Gain of 8. This kind of drive, I guess, at the very beginning of the program we talked about Westmar is going to have to make today.
That's right, and especially going into this wind. It's a little tougher to throw, and just grind it out and take some time off the board.
Kelly McClintock's got him set down 1st and 10 to the 18. Gives to Hill again. Hill going to pound inside the 15 to about the 14-yard line. Going to pick up another 4 yards. Looks like Hill's going to be destined for another one of those 25-plus carry days.
Well, and this is the type of defense that he's effective with, Denny. It's going to be tough to go outside. They pursue so well, and a lot of times just like to go right at them. Just hit right at them quick. Don't let everybody get on top of the play. So I think they're going to see a little more Hill right up the middle and just try and go at him with quickness.
Kelvin Pierce checks into Wayne Hobart, going to come out of there. We're down to the 5:54 mark in the opening quarter. 7-0 Dana, but Westmar threatening. Second down at about 7 to go for the 14. Quick pitch, Kelvin Pierce, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Westmar in from 14 yards away.
There's that quick pitch we've seen so many times before, Denny, and of course I learned that play clear back in high school, and I really love it. It's a fun one, and Westmar really sets it up well. He's got that ball out there, and he's just wide open running downfield, and it was a pretty little quick pitch for a big touchdown for Westmar.
Hill's 3rd touchdown of the year. He had 2 in the opener 2 weeks ago here against Buena Vista, and Mike Moria will try to tie it. Moria's hit on 5 of 6 PATs so far this year. He missed one down at Midland the other night. Hit the right upright. We'll see what he does here, and of course, Joe Holmberg. Yeah, looks like Marcus Hanser maybe is going to spot the ball for him. Kick is going to be straight up in the air. The wind takes it, sails it left, and it's no good. Moria, in fact, fell down. Marcus Hanser spotting there. We had a little different holder. Joey Holmberg's been doing the job. I don't know whether the spot made a difference or what, but it was a poor kick.
Well, and a left-handed soccer kicker kicking into the wind coming from his right. Anything that shies off to his left is going to push with the wind, and yeah, we don't know what happened there, but there was some pressure too. He did get hit after he kicked it. It could have been a flag too.
58-yard drive for Westmar, capped off with a 14-yard run by Kelvin Pierce. Jim McPartland, the freshman out of Sheldon, kicking short. Fumbled. Now it's scooped up to the 24. Out to about the 30, out to the 35, down at about the 38-yard line. The return going to be made by Mike Meyer, not the volleyball coach here at Westmar, but freshman linebacker out of Council Bluffs.
They got linebacker, but he sure didn't run like a linebacker, Danny. Big, strong kid, and really had a lot of speed there, and just about got a seam. That could have been trouble. And a lot of times you'll see that when they bobble the kick and pick it up. Sometimes that buys them a little time, but Westmar did stop him.
Dana going to come out 58 yards away from the end zone, or excuse me, about 62 yards away from the end zone, and they're lining up in the eye. There's to get a muscle. He fumbled the ball, but I think the ground forced the fumble. We'll see. Eagles definitely got on it, but I think the Vikings are going to maintain possession. Scott Seeloff off top of the pigskin, but it was Mushel actually fumbling after he was down. Here comes Oswald in, and they're going to get Chad Shook, or Shook out of there, not Oswald back in. It's Patrick Walton. Walton, another freshman defensive lineman out of St. Petersburg, another kid they're high on. Ball out over the 40 to about the 41-yard line. 2nd down and 7. Pogue going to give again to Mushel, and he'll go nowhere. Stacked up in the middle. Boy, Marcus Hanchard came in there pretty late on the play.
Good thing he didn't hit anybody. He got his own man going over the top. But I'll be careful of that. You don't need penalties now at this time of the game.
Walton was one of the people in there on that stop. They ran right at him. 3rd down and 7. 4:38 left to go in the first quarter. It's 7-6 in favor of the Vikings. Split receivers to both sides. The pro set. Yeah, they're going out of a shotgun too. Pogue back to pass. A lot of time. There he goes and spun around, not taken down. He's still loose. He throws downfield, tipped and incomplete. Pass intended for Barber. Flag going to be down back upfield, and that's in the holding vicinity.
Well, one would guess, and boy, what a wild play, Danny. I want to see that one again, but yeah, we got a holding on Dana, and that's going to set him back here.
Kurt Westhoff possibly could have intercepted the ball if it was tipped up.
Pogue again, someone had him right in their grasp, and then he slipped away from him.
Oh, he is slippery. Well, they'll decline the penalty because it's 4th down now. They'll take the down. 4th and about 6, and it's a punting situation for the Vikings. Kick's going to be away by Pat Welch. Kicked away from the return people, Safford and Holmberg. We do have a flag down on the line of scrimmage, though. Let's see what this will be. It was not a very good punt.
One flag down on each side. I know. Hope Westmar wasn't offsides. They looked like they were going to try and set up a block. They had everyone on the line rushing.
It will not be a first down yet, though. Offsides and the Eagles. Called it right, Keith. Keith Brown and Denny Callahan with you on this replay of the Saturday game on Sunday evening. You can watch Westmar football every Sunday evening on cable channel 20. And again, we apologize for the problems last Sunday, but apparently there was a little mishap in getting the tape to its destination to get it played on Sunday. So it was Monday last week, but it'll be on Sunday hopefully now for the rest of the football season. Speaking of Mondays, though, the Eagle Leaguer backers, of course, are again getting together during the noon hour on Mondays this year. And if you'd like to be a part of that, watch some game films of the Saturday game, certainly welcome to come down and enjoy. Play 4th and 3 now. They'll still punt it. Dana, of course, wants to hopefully get a little better kick away. Safford's going to be able to return this one. Takes it at the 20, up to the 25, gives ground, and now he's taken down at about the 22-yard line. 35-yard kick. At one point, a 5-yard return, but it ends up only being about 2.
That's right. It looked like he made a nice move to come back upfield, but they had the coverage there, and that penalty cost them a few yards. The last punt would have been out of bounds at the 30, and now they're back just on this side of the 20, about the 22 or 3-yard line. So that 5-yard penalty cost them about 7 or 8 yards net.
7-6, Dana by a point, an extra point, the difference in this one. And we've got 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Westmar brings the offense on. Charles Hill and Dwayne Hobart in the backfield behind Kelly McClintock. McClintock sat out last week's game, dressed but did not play it down at Fremont. Here's to get a Hill. Hill trying to break back up inside and runs into resistance from Jeff Nelson, 220-pound sophomore out of Omaha, Nebraska. Flag coming right straight from the west, northwest for this one, so the wind in Westmar's face, but they'll have it at their back for the quarter before halftime, and maybe we can open the offense up a little bit then, Keith.
That's right. I'm sure they'll be able to air it out a little better, and that's a pretty strong wind. A lot of people hair down in front of us are going to be right side heads on here, but it's a strong wind right downfield.
And a little cool, too, kind of brisk here on this late September, mid-September day. Split backs, back to pass. McClintock takes a look. Down and out for Shipley and over his head. Tell Kelly's a little rusty. Sitting out a week of practice. Those passing timing patterns just aren't quite there yet.
No, he's been off on the last two now, and they want to go to that out and get that first down. But and it's a little tougher throwing to that wind. You got to kind of adjust a little bit and maybe put it up a little higher or maybe a little harder. And it just makes it all that much tougher when you are rusty.
Rob White out. Blaine Bell coming into the ball game. Third down at about 11 to go from the 22-yard line. You'll certainly want to get a little yardage before you have to turn it over to Dana from this point. They're going to end up with not much, again, separating them from the end zone. You got to keep Alan Pogue's distance between him and the end zone as much as possible when he's got it. Clinic back, takes a look, throws out here over the head of Skolten. That's incomplete. 3:13 to go, first quarter. 7-6 Dana. They're playing for the return. Nice kick into the wind, and the angle toward the sideline is going to be out over there on the Dana sideline. No return at all. Can't complain about that kick into the wind.
That was a beautiful kick into the wind. That was a better punt into the wind than Dana's last two punts with the wind. So, yeah, I was afraid they were going to get a little return and could have had the ball down inside their own 40. So instead, they're right out here. Looks like midfield on the 50.
Golly, when you get those angled punts.
That's right. The ref just has to put his foot down where he thinks it is. And it's too bad. He had a little more length on it than we got.
Out of the power eye, Alan Pogue. Fumbles the center snap and has to fall on it. Blue shirts pile in there, but Pogue definitely got back on it. Well, that's a give-me play for the Westmar defense.
That's one kind of play they need right now. Put a little pressure on them and make them get out of their quick running game they've had to open up with here so well.
Yeah, that puts them just on their side of the 50 now. They cross back into their own territory, about their own 49, loss of about 2.5 yards on the play. 2 minutes, 41 seconds to go, first quarter, 7-6. Sun shining brightly here on this Saturday afternoon, turning out to be a lovely day. Back to pass, a lot of time, Pogue down the middle. It is tipped and caught. Brilliant catch downfield by number 85, Mike Meyer. Well, he must not be a linebacker. Here he is with the wideout.
No, he didn't run like a linebacker when he ran that kickoff back. And boy, what a play. That wouldn't have happened with going into the wind. I know that. And two receivers went up. Westmar had it covered perfectly, but just couldn't quite get a hand on the ball.
41-yard pass play, and the Vikings are knocking at the door, threatening to go up again by a touchdown. Sanders and Stewart split out each direction. Sanders out wide right, Stewart out wide left. Split backs, pro set, option play. Pogue in the option, slips, cuts up inside, takes two good shots, and goes down. Westhoff really put a lick on him, and Kurt's got to get up slow. Limping a little bit. I don't know who was on the backside. I think it might have been the combination of Johnson and Westhoff that put the lick on. You can't ask for two better hitters than that.
That's right, but it's hard to get a square lick on Pogue. He's so slippery and still managed to twist and get 3 or 4 yards there, and they're knocking now.
Second down at about 7 to go. They can actually get a first down. It looks like just inches away from the end zone. There's the give to Mushel. Brian Mushel cuts back up inside. He's in standing. Nice cutback. They got, Joey Holmberg came up from the cornerback to turn it back inside, but there wasn't anybody in there to help out.
That's right. You got to have that pursuit come from the inside, and it did look like they had to play stop, but a nice job of running and blocking, too, and they got another big touchdown.
Robert Johnson. And Jade Wagner tries to add the point after. He does. It's 14-6. Dana with 1:45 to go in the first quarter. Kick it off. He'll sidewind it down the field. He only takes about a 3-yard drop from the kick, but he still bangs it down there pretty good. Going to hit and go out of bounds. That's pretty unusual. You usually take a little 6-7 yard jog up there and got 2 flags down, a little extracurricular back up field then. So somebody's going to be called for some unsportsmanlike conduct. Westmar's had over 100 yards in penalties the first 2 ball games. That's going to hurt you sometime along the way.
Well, you bet. Those are yards you're giving the other team. A lot of times the team will try to hold them to 200 yards defensively. If you add another 100 to that, that makes it a big game for them. And yeah, you can't do that. I don't know what happened here. Contact way late. I saw a Westmar guy go flying, so it's got to be some kind of personal foul.
Well, while they're ironing it out, maybe a chance to tell you who brings you Westmar College football on cable channel 5, or channel cable channel 20 this year, I guess. The leader, the Lamar's Beauty College, Plymouth Plumbing and Heating, Augie's, Susie's Deli, Hopkins Drug, Stevens Cleaners, Ben Franklin, Mount Drug, J.C. Penney, B&H Tire, Behind the Eight Ball, First National Bank, Vollmer's Shoes, TJ's Antiques, Sousa Mill Standard, Lamar's Savings Bank, the Lamar's Truck Haven Cafe, Curtis Pharmacy, Adler's, and Williams and Company. Big thanks to those folks for bringing you the video of Westmar College football each and every Sunday night on cable channel 20. Well, the penalty is going to go against the Vikings. Illegal procedure, and that's because of the kickoff going out of bounds. And now an additional mark-off for the unsportsmanlike conduct. So I guess Westmar didn't start this one.
No, and that's an interesting call. That turns out to be, what, a 20 or 25-yard penalty. So that'll sure help them in the field position here, and hopefully they can get something going here in minute 45 left this quarter and then get the win behind their back. So that was a big play for Westmar.
Going to kick off now from the 15-yard line. Skolton and White move up to about the 25 to return the kick. Schmazel, after that last touchdown, clear up here, giving a pep talk to that defense. He wants them to start doing it.
Well, they've got to stop Alan Pogue in this offense, and he knows it, and now the defense knows it because they're ahead. So that's what I'm sure he was talking to him.
So here goes the kickoff from Welch again. This one is going to skitter by Skolton. He knocks it down, scoops it up at the 23, 25, 30, 35, 40, down the sidelines to the 50, and into Dana Real Estate to the 47-yard line. Boy, that sure turned out better than it looked like it would.
Well, there's another one of them, kind of a knuckleball that went downfield and going so fast, and that's when you really get the contact.
Westmar is going to run out of the I formation, split receivers wide left, and we're down to the last minute 36 of the first quarter. 14-6, Dana. There's Charles Hill hurtling over a couple of would-be tacklers, lunging to about the 42. That'll be good for about 6. See where they spot it. Coming up in the secondary was Steve Craig to make the hit, a senior out of Roland, Iowa.
Dwayne Hobart had a beautiful block on that, Denny. Really just laid a guy right over, and that was responsible for, had he not done that, that was about the 5 yards that he got on that block. So he's got to have that blocking back in front of that good running back.
And that's why Dwayne Hobart's seen so much action. Excellent blocker. His helmet looks like the United Nations, got every color of the teams that Westmar's played so far. It's really banged up already. There's Kelvin Pierce trying to get outside. Nothing there to the short side of the field. That was a play that worked so well 2 weeks ago against BV, but nothing here.
Well, yeah, it's that little quick pitch again. It scored a touchdown on it earlier. At least it looked like the same play, and it was a loss on it this time. Dana's, I'm sure, seen that on film and have seen it already today, and I'm sure they're going to be on top of it from here on in.
Loss on the play. It's third down at about 7 or 8 to go over the first down to the last 31 seconds of quarter one, and it's been pretty much Dana so far. Westmar's moved the ball sparingly offensively, but not able to, outside of the one drive for the touchdown, they ain't able to really get those long sustained drives. This is a better Dana defense than the one they had a year ago. Back to pass. McClintock sidesteps one man, goes back across to Shipley, got it to 35, 30, first down to the 28-yard line. That was a nice setup play.
That's right, Danny, and that was a tough pattern. He threw that probably 30 yards across the field to the side, and that's interception territory, and he's got the wind going against it, but boy, really hit him right on stride. Well, that's fun to watch. A guy catching the ball in a run like that, and another big first down.
Shipley, despite playing tight end, of course, he's a converted running back. He's got some of the best speed on the ball club. Skolton, White, Shipley, Kelvin Pierce, they're the fastest people.
Yeah,
nice
he showed it there. He showed it there, Denny. He got out and probably had a linebacker on him. I didn't see for sure, but had the open field and was really outrunning.
Actually had 3 people pursuing him, I
right.
think. That'll end the first quarter, 14-6. Dana leading by 8 points. Ball game being brought to you today by Sweet 16 Lanes, Neats and Grubs, Custom Interior, Evans Clothing, Godfather's Pizza, Arnold Motor Supply, Steel Ford, Schuster Grain, Wells Blue Bunny, The Country Kitchen, Reardon Auto, Vern Anderson Equipment, Newble Chevrolet, Cruise and Cruise CPA, Sod's Bar and Grill, Bucky and Foxy's Highlight, Timmy's Cafe, Jeans Plumbing and Heating, Kitchens Incorporated, Pizza Hut, Hotop Jewelry, Taylor Auto, Joe's Movie House and Appliance in Video City. Well, Dana going to start the second quarter. On the defensive side, Westmar down to the 28-yard line. First and 10 right there after the pass from McClintock to Shipley. Gives to Charles Hill out of the power I. Hill trying to get outside, breaks the tackle with a stiff arm and out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. Dana again doing a good job of stringing that out. We just have not been able to get outside on this team.
Well, he finally did get out. He didn't get out like they'd like to, and you bet you get by one, you get a block, and it seems like they got another one or two thrown right at you. But he did get a pretty good pickup there, and it's going to be second about 3 or 4.
Yeah, he must have tightrope the sidelines because they give him progress all the way up to the 22-yard line. So it's second down at about 3. That was a good second effort there. Turned into an 8-yard gain.
Feels a little quicker, too, and you are a little quicker. You got that wind blowing you around that corner like that.
Get out of the wishbone set. There's a give to Pierce. Pierce tried to get in outside, and he'll go down. Well, and maybe got a yard out of it. I'd say in the backfield, but I believe he did maybe get a yard out of it. In there to make the tackle for the Vikings. Going to be Robert Berra. Berra is a 6'3", 230-pounder out of Chicago. He kind of towers over everybody in that defensive huddle. Third down at about 2 to go. Mike Morey warming up the kicking leg. They might be thinking 3 at this point just to salvage this drive. Just underway in the second quarter.
Well, Mike Morey's thinking 3, but I know the coach and the offense isn't, Danny. They want a first down, and they want to go on and get 7 points.
Split receivers to both sides. The backs are split. There's the give to Hill. Hill going to be wrestled down to the backfield, and he's close to a first down. We'll see where the market. There was one guy that didn't get fooled, and that was Jeff Nelson out of the nose guard spot, 220-pounder out of Omaha. He got all of Charles' shirt and held on, and they're going to mark it at the 20, and that'll leave him just about a yard short. Maybe not even quite a yard, Keith.
He did a good job getting the yards he did, and it's too bad he didn't get it all. It's a big fourth down here. You sure don't want to have to give the ball up, but I think this is an obvious go for it call here.
Earlier, Westmar gambled on 4th and 6, a little further back upfield, didn't get it, and Dana turned that into a touchdown. Kelly McClintock wants to take a timeout here while he comes over to talk to Coach Randy Smazel. Too big a call here to gamble away.
Yeah, they might want this Dana defense. You want to go quick and hit right at him, but we've been wrong up here before. They might think they can get outside and even go for a score on them.
Yeah, they're not going with the lead blocker, Hobart. Pearson Hill in their play action pass, going for all of it. Rob White back to the ball, incomplete. And I'll tell you what, that D-back is mad. He didn't make the catch on that. It would have been a 20 at the 20-yard line, about where I guess it would have been as they get it now on downs. But that was a surprising call. They tried the little.
Well, that's the surprise element. You would think they weren't, but the defensive cornerback had his man all the way. And a lot of times you like to go over the middle on something like that, but I guess it's easy to second guess when it doesn't work. But that was a tough drive to have stopped, being so close. And pressure on defense. They've got to stop Alan Pogue and try and retain the field position they have.
Todd Hegel in there and almost coming up with the interception. There's the give off tackle of Bob Bolton, and Bolton going to carry out to about the 23-yard line. Now I guess they figured Dana would be looking inside for it, and maybe they could get a receiver free on the outside, and it just didn't work out that way. I know Bart Starr, the old Packers in the 60s, used to make that work so well.
Oh, well, yeah, and that's the kind of play, had he been open and caught it, it would have been the greatest thing on earth. And I guess that's coach's decision what to do there. And, they could maybe do that again later in the game and they'd get him open. But it didn't work there, and I guess it's behind us now.
Second down at about 6 to go. Gain of 4 by Bolton on the last play. There's a give out of the power I to Mushel, and Mushel going to carry to about the 29-yard line. Brian Mushel didn't play in the game a year ago. Brought in to try and bolster that running game, and I think he's done that. He's got a touchdown run here today.
That's right. He's grinding out some tough yards there, Danny, and got a couple, 2 or 3 extra ones there on his own that are really important to him now, and sets up a 3rd and short. But boy, a big 3rd down. Westmar sure like to stop him here.
12:14 to go in the first half. There's the give again to Mushel. Mushel, if it appears, got the first down, and where the referee steps in to mark the ball, they've got it by about a football's length. Needed a yard, and they got it. So they keep the drive going. Well, it looks like Dana's offense going to take on just a little different characteristic here now going into the wind. Maybe they're going to be a little more conservative.
Well, and they're into the wind, and they're also ahead 14-6, too. That helps, too. They want to try and grind it out, and you bet you have to change a little bit going into this wind.
Could be a calculated risk if they're going to let Westmar play with him for the rest of the afternoon, though. Flags down. A little early movement on Dana's side, I believe. Mushel broke out of a couple of tackle attempts and got an extra 2 or 3 out of it, but I think it's going to be for naught. Looked like there was some early movement on the left side, and then backfield in motion going to be the call. Okay, it's 1st and 15. The 5-yarder marked off against the Vikings. Here's the give. Out to about the 30-yard line, running with the football, Scott Wagner, sophomore out of Gretna, Nebraska. And Robert Johnson, Mike Rogers, Kurt Westhoff all up there to make the hit. That nearly got them back to the original line of scrimmage, got 4 of the 5 yards back, and they're out to about the 28-yard line, if it appeared now, 29-yard line. First going to bring up a 2nd down at 11, and we may be flushing Alan Pogue to the air again.
Yeah, one would assume now it's his situation. They might try and put it on the ground again, or maybe go with an option. And he's the man that can get the offense going when the ball's in his hands. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here.
Pogue has not thrown an interception yet this year in 2 ball games. Westmar's picked off 4. There's Mushel. Carries through a nice hole, fumbles the ball, but it was after the play again. Westmar pounced on it. Robert Johnson upset that it's not going to go Westmar's way. Seeloff got on it for the Eagles, but they're not going to get to keep it. Mushel through a nice opening again, and boy, that big front wall that Dana's got up there blocking, probably the biggest line in their school's history. They're opening some nice holes for the running game.
That sure was there, Denny. Really just right up the middle and got in a seam, and boy, a big 10 yards for him. I guess they haven't had to use Pogue, and again, they're...
Yep. 10:24 to go in the first half of this one. 14-6, it's Dana. Mushel with 2 touchdown runs. Kelvin Pierce with a touchdown jaunt for Westmar. Next week, the Eagles travel down to Crete, Nebraska to play Doane. That'll be the longest road trip of the year. And then home in 2 weeks from today to celebrate homecoming on October 3rd, Concordia down from St. Paul, Minnesota. 3rd down and less than a yard to go, but a football's length to go over the 1st down. Westmar stacking up in the goal line, Pogue in the keeper, and he'll get the 1st down. Carries out to about the 42-yard line. More than enough.
Bobby Bolton put somebody down there and had something to say to him afterwards.
1st and 10 for the 42-yard line, and Dana's got a methodical march into the wind going out of the power I formation. Split receiver to the right. Going to get a Mushel again. Mushel breaks a couple of tackles out over the 45. Short of the midfield stripe to about the 48. Well, I don't think I've seen a running back with this kind of ability down at Dana before.
No, not for a long time anyhow, and he's got a lot of strength, and he's kind of made for the type running game they're doing up the middle and grinding it out. Westmar's stunting. Hatcher was on a blitz there, and they're still grinding it out, and big 7-yard pickup for him again.
Guess the thing that's scary is they're grinding it out of the ground. They're going to go upstairs here pretty soon and catch everybody napping. 2nd down at about 3, a long 3, short 4 to go over the 1st down. Mushel again. Mushel carries across the 50 into Westmar real estate and for the 1st down to about the 45-yard line. It's going to be good for another 6 or 7. Secondary up to make the hit. Seeloff and Frenchie Holmberg were there to make the hit. Mushel, I guess we talk about his ability as a running back, but he's getting some nice holes to run through too.
That's right, and this we got to give credit where credit is due too to the offensive line of Dana. They're just plain taking it to Westmar. They're really driving them out of there, and the linebackers are running to try and stop them 5 yards down, and really got Westmar on their heels right now.
In Westmar's defense, they have really had a lot of injury problems at that defensive tackle spots. Nobody's missed games, but they've all been playing hurt since the season started. There's Mushel hitting the backfield, swarmed under. McLeod had a hold of a leg, as did Wayne Udick, and then a lot of help arrived shortly thereafter. They got the 2 linebackers, Johnson and Westhoff, pouring in there to put the licks on. You can hear the pop and clear up here. No gain on that one. 2nd down and 10 to go from the Westmar 45-yard line down to the 8:39 mark in quarter 2. Clouds have overtaken our sunshine again here this Saturday afternoon. Nice breezy day. It looks like the wind's going to be a factor all day long. Power I formation into the wind. Dan on the move. Back to pass. Pogue throws a quick one, incomplete. Trying to flip it out here on the flat to Craig Wildering. They don't get it on this drive. Pogue's going to work from the shotgun. They've got 3 split receivers on the play. And now they send Stewart in motion back toward the line of scrimmage. Pogue back. Now he's scrambling. Steps up in the pocket. Going to throw to Stewart at the 40. Falls down on his own, and he's short of a 1st down. Got to backpedaling, and there was a break for Westmar. We had Robert Johnson and Scott Seeloff hustling up, but I don't think they'd have got there if he kept his feet before he got the first down.
That's right. If he could have just turned and gone upfield, there he would have had it. He was wide open, and Pogue again sat in the pocket and had good protection. He's just getting to stand there and find his receivers, and thought he had a man for a first down, but couldn't keep the feet under him.
Well, with Leo McKillop's background, he knows what side his bread is buttered on. He knew he better get some big linemen if he wanted to protect his franchise and Alan Pogue and get a running game established.
That's right, and he's done just that. We've sure seen that.
4th and 4, and this will be, I believe, the first punt of the day second punt for the Vikings. Holmberg takes in the middle of the pack at the 15, out over the 20 to about the 23. Punt going to be by Chris Huff, and that was the second punt. I guess he had the one earlier that we had the penalty on, and the Eagles will take over, throwing 23. Westmar, 7:32 to go in the first half, and it's a 14-6 ball game. Dan on top. They've led all the way so far. There's to give to Charles Hill. Hill out over the 25 to near the 30. And again, up there to make the tackle, Mark Haverman, a linebacker out of Carroll, Iowa, 220-pound junior. I believe he played at Carroll Kemper, as I recall that name from some of the Bulldog Carroll Kemper ball games. And there was another nice gain for Hill of about 8 yards. Going to bring up a second down at about 2 to go over the first down. Ball resting right on the 30-yard line, and Westmar's got to put together a nice march now and get it into the end zone. They've got time. There's a little misdirection. Pierce going to go for only about a yard or so. Not much more than that. Jeff Nelson was there from the nose guard spot to make the tackle. Dana's defense not near as big as their offense. They go 230, 225 on the ends, 220 at the nose. The linebackers are 210, 220, 210, 210. And then average size in the secondary. They play a 34 defense, 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and that's pretty common in the pro ranks anymore. Don't see it much at the collegiate level. The outside linebackers almost line up, though, as defensive ends in that kind of a defensive alignment. McClinic back on 3rd and 2, going to throw. Got Rob White on the sidelines, makes the catch at the 45, 50, still on his feet. Gets to the blind side at about the 46, 1st and 10, though.
He was the only one out here, Denny, and really was wide open out there, and just nice little sideline, and Kelly got the ball out to him, and that's what this offense needs, a little burst like that.
23-yard completion, and it's going to move it down to the 46-yard line into Dana Real Estate. He apparently has a bad knee. He's got one with a brace on it, and that he's kind of favoring that as he limps off. I think it just buckled on him. He was out there covering the wideout, Rob White, and that's a lot to ask of an outside linebacker.
Well, yeah, and it shows maybe the confidence they have and the speed they have in this linebacking core. We talk about the 3-man front and the 4 linebackers, and that's part of their pursuit and part of this team speed they have.
1st and 10 down to the 46-yard line as they're into Dana Real Estate, and this is a big drive in this ball game for the blue and silver. There's the draw. There's Charles Hill going to be taken down at about the 45-yard line. He may have got a yard on that, but reading it nicely was Jim Mimick, sophomore out of Omaha, coming up from the outside linebacker spot. When you're in a 3-4, I guess they always say professionally, it's going to give you up about 2-3 yards, but it's not going to give up the long gainers very often.
Well, yeah, that's the assumption you get for up linebackers standing out there that can pursue, and you're a little vulnerable right at the line of scrimmage, but these linebackers are standing in awful tight.
Back to pass, McClinic, down and out, going to hit Rob White. White is going to be taken down, though, for actually a loss. Whether they give him progress to where he caught the ball before he retreated, it looks like they're going to give him a loss. We did a little quick out, and Rob was supposed to do the rest on his own, but he didn't.
Hell, he had a man coming at him and thought he'd sidestep him, and the guy was a little too far away. He should have turned back up and gone out of bounds up the other side. Could have picked up at least 2 or 3 more yards. It was a poor decision. I'm sure he knows it now, but that was a tough one. That was a loss for him, and makes a long 3rd down now. 3rd
down at about 12 to go for the first down. Just couldn't quite get around the D-back out there that had him one-on-one. Split backs. McClinic drops straight back into the pocket. Big rush from Nelson. Throws it out here to Kelvin Pierce. Breaks a tackle. Breaks another tackle. Got a first down to the 20. Not quite to the 25-yard line. 27-yard line where he'll be taken down. There was your offensive center, Craig Larson, way downfield, setting blocks for him. So those linemen hustled down when they saw the pass connection. Nice job there of breaking a couple of tackles by Kelvin Pierce.
Well, that's right, and that's the the footwork we like to see and want to see from him, Denny. And well, he got that first down on his own and just about came back across field. I think if he could have had one more block out there, he might have been able to bring it all the way across and had a foot race. But boy, what a big first down for Westmar.
Gain of about 19 on 3rd and long. Down to the last 4 minutes of the first half, 14-6. Dana, there's the give straight up the middle to Charles Hill. Hill going to carry to near the 25-yard line. Gain of about 3. Tackle by Jeff Nelson from the nose guard spot. Another way to attack a 3-4 is right at the nose guard a lot of times. They'll say that's the place that they can be vulnerable. If that nose guard can't handle himself against double teams in there, he can get a lot of yardage.
Well, yeah, that's the magic word is double team. You always got an extra lineman in there to double team, and you go right at him, and you got to go at him quick, too. You don't want a lot of misdirection, and a lot of times your linebackers are going to get you then.
2nd down and 7 to go. Play action. Oh, the option play. McClintock keeping. McClintock to the 20, to the 15. Touchdown saving tackle going to be made by Al Meyer from the strong safety spot at the 15-yard line, but it should be enough for another first down. They'll move the sticks. Good option play there, and Kelly did a good job of turning it up.
That's right, Denny, and he had his option man there all the way and kind of faked the last step upfield, faked the pitch, and turned upfield. Another big first down. Another drive is still going here.
Nice following here for the Vikings across the way. The folks really came up from Blair. That's called having a nationally integrated football team after a lot of years of some poor football down there.
That's right. They've been on a long dry spell, and I'm sure they like to see some winning college football.
1st and 10 for the Eagles at the 15-yard line. Nice drive here. Charles Hill up the middle to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Charles! That'll be Hill's first rushing touchdown of this 1987 season. He caught a TD pass 2 weeks ago against Buena Vista. But that was a nice one. He slipped a couple of tacklers about 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage and shook off the last one about the 1-yard line.
That's right, Danny. We talked about the leg strength, and he took a pretty good shot at about the 6 or 7 yard line and just put a hand down and brushed right off of him, and a lot of backs would have gone down, and that was enough momentum. He got on in the end zone. That was a big touchdown for Westmar. They had to get that in.
But of course, they're going to have to go over the 2-pointer now since they missed the extra point. They'll try to tie it. Going to split the backs. 2 split receivers to the left side. McClintock backs away from center, taking a look. Now he rolls right, still looking. Going to fire to the back of the end zone. Dropped, and Rob White was open. He just didn't hang on. That'll cost him 2. So it's 14-12 with 2:56 to go in the half. Well, that was disappointing. The 2-pointer was there. I don't know whether they got tipped or what, Keith, but Rob White seemed to have a little distraction there as he tried to make the catch. Hit him in the hands and dropped it.
Yeah, it might have got tipped. It kind of had that look. It was wobbly when it hit him, but it did hit his hands, and you got to catch those.
It was a nice 9-play, 77-yard drive. The kickoff by McFarland going to go all the way back into the end zone and be down there as Wortman chased her all the way back in there and then couldn't bring it out. Not be so reliable today, and it's the distance between the two in a 14-12 ball game. Alan Poe got one more shot at the end zone, possibly before halftime with 2:56 to go. There's the misdirection of Mushel. Mushel into the secondary. 30, 35, looks for the 40. Out of bounds. Joey Holmberg takes him into the Westmar sidelines, but another big gainer as the Vikings just ran that right up the pike. A nice trap block inside, and it sprung him for a long one. Going to carry for about 22, 23 yards, and that sure changed the field position thing in a hurry.
That's right, and that gets them close enough now with 2:48 to go. They can definitely run a pretty well set up series. They don't have to rush it quite so much now. They've only got 50 yards to go, or 55, and sure takes the pressure off the offense now. They can definitely go this far with a normal drive in 2.5 minutes.
From the power I formation, they've gone pretty much exclusively to that since they've gone into the win. Option play, and Poe going down this time. There's Buck Rogers from the strong side, defensive end, getting in there, reading it, got into the backfield, never allowed the option to develop.
That's right, and that's quickness. That's what you got to have against a quick team, a quick quarterback, and you got to make those big plays. And boy, that was a gamer there. That really hurts them.
That dropped them back to the 38-yard line. Loss of 5 at 2nd and 15 with 2:23 to go before halftime. Dana on top, 14-12. They got up to the 7-0 lead. Westmar scored, missed the extra point. Then it was 14-6, now 14-12. Pass going to go out here to Lou Wildering. And a nice open field hit. by Marcus Hancher. A little size differential there. This Wildering kid goes about 200 pounds. Marcus Hancher, slightly built. He's listed at 170, but he didn't really even look that big.
No, he doesn't. And boy, Marcus has been throwing his body around today. He's ready to play football today. And boy, he really came up and made a tough hit there and took the big kid down.
Gain of about 6, so it's 3rd and 9 from the 43-yard line. And we're down to the last minute 50 of this first half. Split receivers to both sides. Stand up tight end like the Hawkeyes use from the shotgun. Pogue back to pass. Laying it out there for Stewart. Intercepted by Seeloff. Well, Pogue just found out what thrown into the wind could be like. That one just hung up there for grabs.
That's right. They're going to have a personal foul. That's going to go all back, and it's going to be just about a first down for Dana. That's too bad. We had a late hit on Westmar, but like we talked earlier, the ball hangs out there when you're going into the wind. This is one of these mental errors that we just can't have. It's going to hurt Westmar.
Yeah, it's going to be back in the vicinity of the quarterback, and this one is going to be flagged against the Eagles. Eagles got their offense out already. The referees are talking it over, but I think they're going to have to bring the offense back on roughing the passer. Going to be the call. A late hit on the quarterback, Pogue, after the interception. Boy, those kind hurt.
Oh, Danny, that's...
Ball down to the 42 into Westmar Real Estate. Brad T. Krotzel in there. Dan Krotzel out of there, trying to get another defensive back into the play as they're expecting pass. Little collision to the backfield. Mushel going to go down after a yard gain. And Mushel going to go down at about the 39-yard line. Mushel, when he hits down and gets tackled, then he kind of tosses the ball forward, hoping to maybe get a little better spot, I think. And the Eagles keep pouncing on it like it's a fumble.
That's right. And the one time he did fumble there, he had his arm went down with the ball in it. And he likes to carry it kind of out open like that. And he wants to get every little inch. Pros do it, never works. I don't know why he does either. But
hey, we're going to be able to get him to jar it loose here pretty soon. Mushel straight up the pike. That was just right up the freeway, and it's going to be good for a first down. Got a penalty marker down. Maybe some more late hitting in there. Up to the 30-yard line. The ball popped out of there again, so if anybody came in late, it's because it gave the effect of a fumble there.
Well, one would assume, and it looks like it's going to go against Westmar again here. And it's one thing to have a team drive on you, Denny, but you just can't give it to them time and time again.
It's going to be a face mask penalty tacked on to the end of the play. Yeah, the Eagle team, we kind of mentioned, especially last week when some of the penalties really were of the kind that could have been avoided. And it's just mental-type mistakes. And this is just a little over-aggressiveness, grabbing the face mask, maybe, but these are things you've got to avoid to be a good football team.
Sure is, Denny. They've given them 20 yards now and given them the ball once off the penalties in this drive.
That moves the ball to the 26. Going to be 1st and 10. There's Mushel. Krotzel had him in the backfield, takes him down. Dan Krotzel really came in there with a good lick.
That's right. This defense is so wound up. I think they're mad out there, and that's part of some of these calls that's going against them. They're really hitting and they're really playing football, but
down at about 11 to go from the 27-yard line, and it might be time to go airborne with 30 seconds left to go before halftime. And there's Pogue backing away from center. Plenty of time. Now he rolls right, unloads it down the field. Joey Holmberg tips it away. Could have maybe picked that one off, and it's going to give him a chance now to load up for one more shot.
Yeah, it looked like he intensely tried to bat it down, and he might not have known he was so wide open. He had one thing in mind, and that's don't let this ball get caught. And he did have to dive, and boy, that was another break for Dana. They had enough this drive, and it was right in his hands. That could have just as well been picked off. And Westmar, this defense is sure rising to the task here, but Alan Pogue is going to try it again, I'm sure.
Now remember, Westmar's given up only one touchdown in the second half in 2 games this year. 2nd down at 11 to go, or 3rd down at 11, back to pass. Pogue going to go to the short man, is tight end Barber. Barber going to make the catch inside the 20 to about the 17, 18-yard line. It looks like he'll still be short of a first down. They might have it in a position to try the field goal, though. Seeloff and Robert Johnson are up there. Well, we were kind of questioning there whether they were going to go over the field goal to the points. 12 seconds to go. It's 4th and 2, and they're going for points. The big points. Mushel's got a first down, and down he goes at about the 11-yard line. They've got him stopped in the middle of the field. Timeout with 7 seconds to go. 1st and 10 to go at the 11-yard line. Defense going to face the ultimate challenge of the first half. 14-12 Dana. They're trying to tack on some more. 7 seconds to go. It looks like Westmar is going to take a timeout. There's a little cat and mouse game going on between the two coaches now. This play, I think, for Dana is they're going to definitely go airborne, probably
That's right.
timing up for 2 cracks into the end zone.
Even the tight end's number 12, so you know he's not a big tight end.
Back to pass. Pogue takes a look out of the flat, incomplete. Try to hit one of his swingmen out of the backfield. I think it was Mushel, the tailback, and he's still face down. That's just disappointment more than anything. So they ran kind of a delay out of the backfield and tried to hit him underneath.
He just about made a spectacular catch. He didn't make it, and I guess this is one guess here. Here comes the kicking team. They're going to try and get 3 out of it now.
3 seconds to go before halftime. Well, this would be somewhat of a victory for Westmar, and boy, with the wind in his face, this is no automatic kick at all.
Oh, definitely not. It's going to be about a 27-yarder, I guess. Can't see where they're spotting, 28 or 9, and they're going into the wind, and it's going to be a long kick. He's going to have to hit it straight.
And another timeout by the Eagles. Point try here. The hold is going to be by James Anderson. They'll spot it on about the 17, 27-yard try into the wind. Let's see what happens. 3 seconds left before halftime. Snap is high, almost blocked by Hancher, and it is good. So it's going to be extended to 17-12. The half will end of the play. Westmar trailing by 5, but the fact we gave up just 3 there, Brownie, I think somewhat of a victory for the defense.
Oh, definitely was, Denny. After all the adversity they had in the drive, they had the ball taken away. The 2 big penalties are just plain handed Dana first downs, and it would have been nice to see him miss that field goal, but I think they're glad they didn't give him the 7-point touchdown.
Well, the ball game being brought to you this Sunday evening on Cable Channel 20 by the leader, the Lamar's Beauty College, Plymouth Plumbing and Heating, Augie's, Susie's Deli, Hopkins Drug, Stevens Cleaners, Ben Franklin, Mount Drug, J.C. Penney, B&H Tire, Behind the 8 Ball, First National Bank, Balmer's Shoes, TJ's Antiques, Susamil Standard, the Lamar's Savings Bank, the Lamar's Truckhaven Cafe, Gertis Pharmacy, Adler's, Williams & Company, Sweet 16 Lanes, Beats and Grubs, Custom Interior, Evans Clothing, Godfather Pizza, Arnold Motor, Steel Ford, Schuster Grain, Wells Blue Bunny, The Country Kitchen, Reardon Auto, Vern Anderson Equipment, Newell Chevrolet, Cruise and Cruise CPA, Sod's Bar and Grill, Bucky and Foxy's Highlight, Timmy's Cafe, Jean's Plumbing and Heating, Kitchens Incorporated, Pizza Hut, Hotop Jewelry, Taylor Auto, and Joe's Movie House and Appliance in Video City.
3, and that's pretty much even. Both teams carried the ball 25 times from line of scrimmage, and they did have 90 yards passing to our 55, which I guess is the difference in the game so far. And I guess we can look back at each team had 4 penalties, but boy, some of Westmar's really cost them. So it's statistically pretty even game.
Pogue is 5 for 10 through the air, and Kelly McClintock 6 for 10. That interception by Seeloff that got taken away would have been Pogue's first of the year. That turned out to cost us 3 points there at the end, and I know that was the talk at halftime as we visited with some of the Westmar faithful. The mistakes the Eagles made in that first half, the score could easily be different.
That's right, and mistakes Westmar made and Dana didn't. They never had those type of mental errors or penalties that cost them in big positions, and they've managed to milk every point they could out of every situation, and that's been the difference.
Yeah, the Eagles will be going into the win now for the 3rd quarter, so we will have it at the start of the 4th quarter, which, if the game stays close, could be a factor before this one's over. McPartland has her teed up on the right hash mark, and we're set to go for the final half of football. This is the 35th meeting between Dana and Westmar. Westmar has won 5 of the 7 games so far here in the 80s, losing last year 33-30, one of their 3 losses. Kickoff's going to be taken by Bobby Bolden at about the 21, 25, 30, and the Eagles going to run him out of bounds at about the 31-yard line, and that's where Dana will bring the offense on to begin play here in the second half. I think you think back to that first quarter when Dana had the wind at their back. Westmar made a calculated gamble on 4th and about 6, didn't get it. In fact, they lost yardage on the play, gave Pogue 55 yards to drive, and they ended up taking that into score. Later tried a 4th down and opted to try for it instead of the field goal and didn't get that one either. There's a couple big plays right there.
Oh, no question about it, and they turned into points both times for Dana, too. So those are factors that happen in a game that you look back on, wish you could have over again.
Well, there's Mushel going up the middle again. Almost fumbled the ball at about the 10-yard gain mark, turned it into about a 13-yard gain all the way across the 40 to near the 45-yard line. You mentioned earlier, Keith, he carries that ball kind of loose, and he almost got it jarred loose there as he carried it out with like a loaf of bread.
That's right, he broke free with it, and then actually the ball was in the air and had to catch it. It's too bad someone wasn't on his knees at that time and hitting him, and it would have been free ball. But yeah, he carries it kind of out in the open.
1st and 10 out to the 45-yard line out of the I formation. Alan Pogue, the All-American quarterback. 5 TD passes this year, none yet today. There's Mushel tiptoeing up to the line of scrimmage. Robert Johnson's going to be there to take him down, and a lot of help down underneath, and we'll pick them out as they unstack. McLeod was there. Those interior linemen also there, and I think Kurt Westhoff got up to make a hit also. 14-15 to go third quarter, just underway with the second half of football. Remember the Eagle Leaguer Backers meeting every Monday during the noon hour. Come up and enjoy Westmar films and a visit with the coaches. What a way to get to know the program, the coaches, personalities, and the players involved. Back to pass, Pogue throws to a wide open man. Barber out here in the flat, 50, 45, 40, and inside the Westmar 40 to about the 37-yard line. Joel Holmberg, the only man out there to save the touchdown. It was a little late release on the play by the tight end. He stays in the block and then releases.
That's right, tough to defend against. Normally a man, someone checks him, sees if he's going out, and evidently did that, and he wasn't out, so the defender turned and someone looked elsewhere, and then he broke free. And that's kind of a timing deal, too. He paused, and it's one of those deals where quarterback's got time to stand and wait for him to get open, and he's going to be open.
Gain of the play of about 18 yards, 1st and 10 down to the Westmar 37-yard line. Pogue's got him on the move again. Back to pass again. Takes a look, fires, incomplete. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver over there in the sideline. I believe, again, it was Barber, 82, just caught the other one. Kurt Westhoff broke that one up with a hit.
That's right, and the Barber's a little slow getting up. He was kind of walking back trying to get his helmet strapped back on, and that was a big-time shot on him out there.
Terry Barber listed at 210 out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Not real big for tight end size. A big, lean, lanky, almost wide receiver type.
Yeah, he looks like a wide receiver build-wise, and I guess that's what they're using him as now.
3 receivers out of the pattern. Pogue in trouble and is going to be sacked by Oswald back there at about the 50-yard line. Back on the Dana side of the 50. That was a surprising move by Pogue. He scrambled left, avoiding the rush by Oswald, and then turned right back into Oswald.
Well, and then he slipped on top of it, and that's what I think stopped him. And you talk about quickness, so you have to be so quick to stop a Pogue, and Oswald, I think, is one of the quickest pass rushers they have, and so he's been a little more effective. But again, the pressure really made him flush out, and that's what they want to do.
Loss of 14, and that's going to make it a third down. And about 25 yards to go with the first down. Back to the Dana 49. Well, with the wind at his back, this is a big stop for Westmar. They can hold him here on third down. Pogue going to work out of the shotgun. Allen straight drop back. Takes a look. And now it's UTEC in hot pursuit. They force him out of the pocket. He's going to go down for another loss in the play. Mike Rogers up there to contain him and take him down to that defensive end. That time, the defensive end play was good because they held him containment and didn't let him outside.
That's right, and hats off to Mike Rogers. That's a tough tackle out there. He was kind of standing on his own flat feet and took him right on and brought him down. Pogue was running full speed and put the moves on, but brought him right on down to the ground and stopped him.
Loss of another 2 or 3. It's 4th and about a mile to go now, almost 30 yards, and they'll be punting, and Westmar has come up with a big defensive stop. Again, this has been a tough defense in the second half this year. What a punt with a wind. Way out of the end zone of the roll, and Safford going to just let her go. And Westmar's going to have it out of the 20-yard line. That time they really, Pat Welch canonized that one.
That's right, the first one he really got into today, Dan. He's had a lot of trouble with the wind on and into the wind, but at least it went through the end zone. They're back free out at the 20.
Well, it seems to make a lot of difference whether you're going into this stiff 15, 20-mile-an-hour breeze today as to whether you're going to keep her close to the vest, as most of the teams have done going into the wind, and whether you're going to open it up a little bit with the wind at your back. And each time you can stop a team from scoring with the wind at their back today, it's going to be beneficial. Westmar with a big stop there. Both the Dana touchdowns came with the wind at their back, and Westmar's scores came with their wind at their back. There's the rollout by McClintock. McClintock going to carry down the sideline, still on his feet, finally driven out at about the 46-yard line. 26-yard play, and Kelly tightrope that sideline for about 15 of it.
Well, and he showed us some speed, Denny. One linebacker I know had a straight angle on him, and Kelly ran by the angle pursuit. And he underestimated his speed, I guess, but Kelly really showed some speed. He got around the corner, and boy, what a big pickup into the wind.
should say Westmar did score their first touchdown into the wind. They did score with Kelvin Pierce taking it in the first quarter into the wind. So they're the only team that's put a touchdown on into the wind. Dana, of course, got 3 points going into the breeze. First and 10 for Westmar out to the 46-yard line. Quick pitch. Charles Hill, 45, looks for the 50, and he won't get there. Taken down at about the 49-yard line. Well, I guess this is the kind of football we anticipated today. A little more of the wide-open, big play type football game. We haven't seen a whole lot of big play stuff yet.
No, we haven't, and I think it's we'll give a tribute to the defense. It's a real pursuing, hard-hitting defense. Players are really up for this game. You can tell just by the way the hits are, and whistles have to be blown pretty loud because they're having a hard time stopping these guys after the play is down. And I think we still might see some, but it's a little tough to get the big plays into the wind.
11:15 left to go in the third quarter. It's 17-12 in favor of Dana, just underway in the second half. Option play, pitch out. Kelvin Pierce, he's in trouble. Him down and slips a tackle just so he can get back to the line of scrimmage, but getting into the backfield and causing a lot of problems on that was Todd Hegel from a cornerback spot. Maybe even lost a yard in the play. Third down at about 7 to go for the Westmar first down at their own 48-yard line. That time Kelly tripped coming away from center, and as he was falling down, he made the pitch, but he didn't get out there to where they could option the option man.
No, it really wasn't a true option, I guess. He didn't have anyone commit to him. It was kind of a desperation. It was a tough pitch to make. He was kind of going down tripping. They had to make it with a left hand, so I guess we can be glad that he got it to Pierce.
Once you make the pitch, too, everybody can commit to that pitch man. You don't have to play it honest anymore. Back to pass, McClintock. Sidesteps the would-be rusher. Back to pass, throws downfield. Kelvin Pierce at the 30. And down right there. Good for the first down. McClintock kept rolling. And credit Kelvin Pierce finding the open territory.
That's so important, and you've got to kind of flow with the quarterback. You've got to get where you can be seen and keep moving. You can't stand on your flat feet down there because then the defense can get to you by the time the ball is. And again, I guess we're showing our version of our running quarterback that can got the speed and get out and find somebody throwing. And that was a nice pass into that wind.
That was rolling right, throwing then back across your body, back the other direction on the run. 22-yard completion. Kelvin Pierce with his second pass catch of the day. Actually, Kelly McClintock had a better passing completion percentage than Alan Pogue. McClintock was 6 for 10 of the first half. There's the Hill. Hill going to be taken down to the line of scrimmage. Not much there. Runs right into defensive tackle Mike Hansen. Hansen's played a good ball game. He's an Iowa boy. A lot of Iowa kids on this Dana roster, and a lot of them are playing some football. Wonder a kid from southeast Iowa ends up in Blair, Nebraska.
Well, I don't know. A lot of times, might have had a cousin or relative or something. The connections that get somebody to college sometimes are amazing, but I'm sure might be the situation there.
I guess no more stranger than kids from St. Petersburg or Tampa,
right.
Florida, ended up in Lamar's, Iowa, way up here in the northwest corner of the Hawkeye State. Second down, 10 to go for Westmar from the Dana 30, and they're on the move. Hobart in there at running back now, place of Kelvin Pierce. Split receivers to both sides. Straight drop back, quick slant in, incomplete, almost intercepted. Ran a little quick look into Rob White, trying to catch in front of Tommy Bolton, throwing behind, and Bolton almost had the intercept.
That's right. It could have very well been intercepted, and this was a nice pass, but those are tough to throw, and I'm sure Kelly'd like to have that again because Rob was wide open over the middle there, and could have been a big pickup and a first down for him. And now they got left with 3rd and 10 again.
From the 30, they're out of field goal range into the wind, I'd say, for Mike Morey. Kelvin Pierce back in there. Charles Hill and Pierce split behind quarterback Kelly McClintock. Rob White split wide left, Skolten here to the right side. Double reverse, Skolten running to the left side. He's to the 30, 35, 40, might have a first down. Got about 10 or 11 on the play, and let's see where they mark it. Well, they worked on that in practice, and this is the first time that they have gone to the double reverse this year. And when they remark the football, he may be short by about the point of it, but I'd say it's 4-down territory.
I think it is at this point, and it's too bad he didn't get it. I thought he got over the line. I'm a long ways away from it, but that was a pretty play, and you can see the speed of Skolten actually ran around his own quarterback. That could have been an important blocker, and it looked like they would have got the first down, but they're going to try for it again here. 4th down and just about half the football length away from the first down, but they're up to the 20, so it's definitely 4-down territory. McClintock, not even a hesitation, into the huddle and out again. They're up to the line of scrimmage. Quarterback sneak, and McClintock has got a first down inside the 20 to about the 19-yard line. A little different look, this 4th down and short, than we saw earlier in the first half, Denny, when Westmar chose to to try and surprise them and go for the touchdown, and they decided to go for the yards and get the first down here.
Boy, this is a big series of events here to open the second half. Westmar with a big stand with Dana having the wind to their back and Pogue going pretty much airborne. They stopped him, sacked the quarterback, and now Westmar with a good drive downfield into the wind. This will be a confidence builder.
That's right. That's exactly what they want to do. They got one more thing to do to make that all complete, and let's get some points off this. They got 20 yards to go.
And take their first lead of the afternoon, too. 7:59 to go, third quarter. Another good time-consuming drive of the Eagles. Option play. There's a fumble, and the Vikings are going to get on it, I believe. Son of a gun. On the option play, Kelly got dislodged from the football, and I believe up off top of the pigskin, Jim Mimick, a sophomore out of Omaha, and I guess we spoke too soon.
Well, there's the option play. That's what can happen, and that wasn't on the pitch. It was, I think, a defensive man broke in and really broke up the fake. And Kelly just didn't get it back out of the fullback's stomach and back into his hands, and it was a free ball, and that's how the drives are stopped.
So the Vikings take over at the 31-yard line. This defense for Dana has been a surprise to me today. A little tougher than I anticipated. Mushel going to be up the middle, and Mushel churning and driving that extra effort, going to carry it about the 35-yard line. He'll get 4, but it was 4 tough yards.
That's right. These two teams are really going at it, and he's a big, strong back, and he likes to twist and grind in there. And again, you can see that ball out. He holds it in one arm. It makes it easier to run, easier to hold your balance. But boy, when you're jamming it up the middle, that's kind of a loose ball in there. But he's hung onto it so far.
Talked to some of the Dana representatives at that time. Mushel, I guess, came on late last year and finally won a starting spot. He didn't play much early in the season. Didn't see him much at all in the ballgame last year down at Blair that Westmar played Dana in. Here's to get a Mushel again off tackle, and the whole surge just goes forward for another 2 or 3, following the blocking of that offensive tackle there on the left side. Big number 78, Terry Verriger, at 265 pounds. And this is not only a big offensive line, they're predominantly a sophomore offensive line.
That's right, and they're going to be back again, but they're a good line, Danny. They're really well coached, and they're executing well, and they're basically taking it to Westmar. They got the size, and you can see on some of these some of these plays, they just got that little surge.
Third down at about 3 to go from the 38-yard line. There's a give. Second man through to Mushel. Oh, what a hit by Westop to keep him from the first down. Answer came up, got him around the ankles, and then Westop really put the pads to him.
That's right. There's two people right there that put them together, Danny. Nobody's going to get by him or over him, or there was no surge with those two. That was a big league hit, and boy, what a good time again. We stopped Dana, apparently, if we get him to have the punt off here without any error, but twice now they stopped Dana with the wind at their back.
That is vintage Kurt Westop there, Lamar's graduate. And in his senior year, the captain of this football team. 5:57 to go, third quarter. Bad snap. Going to be over Welch's head, and he won't even be able to get it away. Now he is going to punt the thing, and it's going to be over the head of Joey Holmberg. What a punt on the run. Holmberg back to the 10. Looks for a block. Juke steps, breaks a tackle, stumbles, falls out to about the 16-yard line. Can you believe that?
That's one of those plays where you wish you'd had the block on. There only one man was down there, and it was kind of a hopeless one-on-one deal, and that's, I guess, when things are going your way, Danny, I keep thinking, well, sometimes Westmar's got to have a big break, and I don't think he could have punted it that far if he'd have had a normal snap.
That was something. He was in trouble. I think he'd given up on the play and was going to run, and then they gave him a little bit of an opening. He says, well, I'll take a shot, and he hammered out a butte.
And if the wind hadn't been blowing so strong, I think the center snap would have went deeper. That thing just kind of hung up there. I think he swatted at it twice before he went over his head. But
maybe he ought to become a two-step punter.
Oh,
he did
boy.
pretty well that way.
Yep.
Westmar pinned back to the 16, and boy, who would have thought the field position was going to be this horrible after the way that play developed. The clinic going to go to Charles Hill, a stiff arm, and now Charles just fighting to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he won't even make it. Going to lose a yard. There again, that quick pursuit. Dana really swarming to the football here this afternoon. Red and white, definitely with one of the quickest defensive teams they've put on the field against Westmar in several years.
Well, and that's part of the 34, Danny. They got the people up standing that can pursue easier, too. It's tougher for a down lineman, a tackle, or guard to get out and run to the corner when he's making contact at the line of scrimmage. And that's one strength they sure hope to be able to do with those up linebackers.
Second down at about 11 to go on the 15-yard line. McClintock going to move his backs around. Hobart and Hill shifting around back there. Better hurry up or they're going to take too much time. There's that patience of McClintock. The cool head, pitch out, Charles Hill. Hill going to be taken down by that wide-out linebacker who was out there to turn everything back inside, and he'll wrestle him down to the turf. Coming up to make the hit is Al Meyer, actually the strong safety, I guess, actually coming up to make the play. Hill going to pick up about 5. It's going to be 3rd down, 6 to go. Football just about on the 20-yard line. 4:25 to go. The third quarter is shot by in a hurry here, Keith. Most of it's been on the ground with Westmar controlling it.
Yeah, they've done exactly what they wanted to do, except they couldn't get points, and it'd be nice to see them keep it on the ground here, get a first down, and hold the ball to get the wind at and on their back.
Fumble snuffed out, a very positive drive. The last time Westmar had the football, faced to the big 3rd and 6 here. McClintock on the reverse. It's Shipley in the tight end around, and Shipley's going to go down. Looked like they had the face mask there, but apparently he just got a fistful of jersey and took him down because, boy, he had his hand up there in the vicinity of the face mask.
That was awful close, and I guess there's no flag, so it wasn't called. Nice call, Danny. I sure like something like that, and it's one of those that they defended well and covered it, but it's kind of a trick play, I guess, not quite so much as an alley-oop or a double reverse or something, but it was a good call, just didn't work for him.
We'll create a new term, conservative razzle-dazzle.
Right, all right. I didn't know what to say, but that's great.
Rob White now back at the 5, and he'll punt it out of there into the wind. Got a good punt away into the wind back in the first quarter. This one a little lower, and it's going to die, but it takes a good roll. Downfield over the 50, down at about the 47-yard line. A few extra pops being thrown. Bobby Bolton and Marcus Hancher have a few words for each other. And that one's end up being a 33-yard kick. That's pretty close to his average, right around 34, 35 yards per punt this year.
That's right, and I'm sure he's glad to get that into this wind. It is really gusting now. People's hair are about straight sideways now, and it's coming in gusts. The sun's out. It's nice out, but it's a tough old strong wind to be playing in.
Kind of coming out of the northwest now, looks like, which is giving it an angle shot, not directly behind Dana here for this third quarter. At this point, Mushel going off tackle, and Mushel going to carry out to right about the midfield stripe. Good for 4. 3:05 left to go, third quarter. Still 17-12, same score we had at halftime. Westmar was moving for what appeared to be the go-ahead touchdown, and then a fumble tore it all down as they were down inside the 20 at about the 18-yard line. Second down at about 7 to go. Gain of 3 on the last play. The ball actually on the Dana 49-yard line as it was respotted after the play. Split backs, pro set with split receivers to both sides. Going to give up the middle to Bobby Bolton, and he goes airborne and gets nothing. I don't think he got to the 50-yard line. He just tried to hurdle up as if it was one of those plays on the goal line that Walter Payton does so well.
That's right. You couldn't jump high enough to get over that pile, Danny, and it's the way these two defenses are playing. You don't leave your feet against them because you're done then, but he evidently couldn't see anything, thought he'd go over and at least get his body forward and get a couple extra yards. Have a big third down.
Did get right to the 50, so it's third down at about 7 to go over the first down. See if Poe goes airborne. He's going to be in the shotgun formation. Big rush. McLeod got a fistful and takes him down. The ball goes straight into the turf. He wanted to go to Stewart, who released late on the play again. And he got a couple of Eagles slow getting up, and one of them is still down. Looks like he kind of points to his shoulder. He was one of the people that put a lick on the quarterback as he released it, but a good pass rush there made that one incomplete.
That's right, Mark McLeod again, and came from the outside, and that's quickness you got to have, and he stayed with him. He went by him once, got a hand on him, but just stayed with him and came right back and made the sack. Boy, that was a big one.
Dan Oswald, the injured player, kind of pointed to his shoulder. This kid will be a loss. He's played some good nose tackle.
That's right, and he's the quick pass rusher you need against an Alan Pogue, and we've seen how important that is, and this is the third time now that Westmar stopped Dana's offense with this, what we call valuable wind at their back.
So an injury timeout gives us a chance to tell you about some of the people bringing you Westmar football each and every Sunday night on Cable Channel 20. The leader, the Lamar's Beauty College, Plymouth Plumbing and Heating, Augie's, Susie's Deli, Hopkins Drug, Stevens Cleaners, Ben Franklin, Mount Drug, J.C. Penney, B&H Tire, Behind the Eight Ball, First National Bank, Ballmer's Shoes, TJ's Antiques, Sousa Mill Standard, the Lamar's Savings Bank, Lamar's Truckhaven Cafe, Gertis Pharmacy, Adler's, and Williams and Company. Well, Oswald's coming off. Hopefully that's not a separation or something of that magnitude. That could sideline him for a week or two.
It doesn't. I don't like the look away. He's carrying his arm and shoulder there, but you never know. We sure hope for the best, but he's kind of got it's shoulder neck area, and he's really holding an arm limp there.
Well, Tony Payton's going to bring him to the sideline and take a look at him. So we've got our athletic trainer specialist out there, and he's already up under the shoulder pads, so they're looking for the separation. And Welch going to get away a dandy this time with a little less dramatics. Taken by Holmberg at the 5 to the 10. Cuts back upfield about the 16-yard line.
Got a flag on the play.
Yeah, about 16. You got a flag back upfield near the line of scrimmage. Let's see what that's about. I think Westmar would make him kick it over probably if they could.
Yeah, I think so. The 15-yard line isn't too ideal situation, and it's going to be against Westmar, though.
Against the Eagles, so I think Dana would be satisfied with this. The only thing he could do better is to jar the ball loose on the return.
Yeah, they'll, I'm sure, would just decline this.
You run the risk of getting it punted or getting it blocked if you try to punt again.
Unless it's a 10-yard penalty, then it could give them a first down on the line of scrimmage. That happened after the kick, so that means the play's on.
Defensive holding, of course, be the automatic first down, though.
I would assume it might be a blocking penalty, but you know, on a punt, that's a normal one. They're sure talking it over.
Yeah, they're going to bring it back, kick it over. So this,
or they might go for it. They might not kick.
That either is going to give them the first down or put them close enough they might consider. They'll put them into Westmar real estate. Well, it's only 5 yards, so not a first down, but it's going to be fourth and about 1.5 yards for the first down. And now, leading 17-12, you wouldn't expect them to run such a risk at the Westmar 45.
Now they're bringing on the offense.
They're going for it. So Westmar going to get their deep people back in there. 1:45 to go in the third quarter. Westmar's tried on 3 fourth downs today. Here's Oswald coming back into the lineup. So Ozzy's right back in there. He pushes Tony Payton aside and says, I'm going back in. So he's apparently all right. 4th and 1 yard, and the defense getting some help from the crowd here at the Lamar's Community Field. Option play. Down he goes. He won't get it. Mike Rogers from the defensive end, shot down from outside quickly. He and Wayne Udick, and they shut the whole thing down before it ever got going.
That's right. Mike Rogers gets a high five from the coach. And boy, that was a big one, Denny, and that's kind of like, we'll take this if you want to. You don't want us to have the ball in the 15. Why, we're going to put it right back to you. And boy, that ought to uplift the offense.
Coach McKillop gambles and fails. And Westmar now with a chance to turn this one in, and they're, of course, just about 1:38 away from getting the wind to their back. They could yet have it on this drive before it's too far along. Split receivers to both sides. Nope, split receiver to the right. They're going to go from the wishbone set. Kelly McClintock looks over that 34 defense. Long count, option play, pitch out. Charles Hill, Charles to the 45, to the 50, and into Dana Real Estate to about the 47-yard line. Nice block out there by Todd Skolden. He's going to clap his hands together like he didn't get the guy clear knocked down, but he gave enough of a running lane down the outside for Charles to pick up a couple of yards.
To me, there's no tougher block than what those split ends have to do. They have to block that guy sometime for 10 seconds, and you never know where the play is. And sometimes all you want to do is stand them up and take them one way or another.
Still 17-12, no scoring at all in this third quarter. Westmar had a drive going inside the 20 and fumbled on their first possession of the second half. Vikings have just failed on 4th down, and now a 7-yard run by Charles Hill. Hill loose in the secondary to the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Yards, no flags down. This one's going to stand, Brownie, a big one.
Tim Shipley, we've got to throw his name out there, Denny. Big downfield block, and they're so important. And through Charles all the way, and again, some beautiful running the line of scrimmage and perfect cuts. Boy, he seems to know where the opening is and got the nice blocks. And boy, into the wind. I guess we keep saying into the wind or with the wind, but it's nice to see him score that way. And there's our big play.
And Charles had a little wind resistance in his battle there, too. He's kind of got that wide body. And
that's right. Those big, thick, muscly legs, they tighten up a little quicker on the all-out sprint. And he was going into the wind, too. But he saw that red flag right there, knew where to go.
Westmar has inched ahead 18-17, 47 yards on the touchdown jaunt, the longest of the year for Hill. His second touchdown here today had about a 20-yarder, I believe, earlier. And they're going for the two-pointer. They missed the two-pointer early, and McClintock away from center. Heavy rush. Mimic has got him by the face mask. Got another flag. This is going to be offsetting penalties. Mimic took him by the face mask and ripped his helmet off, and we're going to have a bench emptying brawl here.
That's right. Kelly turned around and threw the ball right back at him, and coach has got to get in control or they're going to have more penalties here. And that was a tough one. You know you got the face mask, you don't tear it off and throw it downfield, but it's going to be offsetting penalties, and I guess we're going to see it again. I hope we can just get it calmed down. We don't want any fists thrown out here. There's still plenty of football to play.
Kelly McClintock's so important to this football team, and you're going to have some people come to his defense. That was pretty flagrant there, and I would think there should be an ejection there. I think Mimic should be gone.
Well, that's right, and I guess Kelly's action at throwing the ball wasn't quite right either, but you can see why he did it. Boy, that makes you mad. There's nothing more helpless feeling than somebody ripping your neck around with a face mask, but it's going to be interesting to see how they call all this.
Yeah, they're still discussing this one, but boy, there could be a serious injury on a play like that.
Yep,
I didn't know Dana last year had, they tell me, had a few bench shifting situations some other ball games.
And Westmar's still got a few. Charles Hill went up and was talking to the ref, and that's where the captains need to take over. Just calm everyone down and think about football here.
Yeah, the two captains are stepping up there to voice their opinions, and they're backed off now, and referees are still discussing this one, so we'll wait and see what happens here. Well, football action coming away, brought to you by Sweet 16 Lanes, Neats and Grubs, Custom Interiors, Evans Clothing, Godfather Pizza, Arnold Motor Supply, Steel Ford, Schuster Grain, Wells Blue Bunny, The Country Kitchen, and Reardon Auto. I think Mimic is gone. He's going to be kicked out. And I guess sportsmanship prevails there. Kelly McClintock goes over and says, no hard feelings. I know I lost Mike Cool.
And he got a high five back, so I'm glad to see that. Maybe a little gutsy going over even talking to him, but it's...
But Coach McKillop doesn't like the way it was handled. He's out of the field. He's going to argue because he thinks, I'm sure, Kelly McClintock should be gone too.
That's right. They're turning and throwing the ball at him, and Westmar would lose on that situation had those two players be lost. It's too bad. It's one of those things just in the heat of the battle, and that was big points for them, and it's just be nice to see it get back to playing ball here now. I'll interested to see how they call this.
Well, who said this wasn't a big battle here in small college football today? A couple of unbeaten football teams and a couple of good ones. Westmar snubbed by the pollsters yet, but I think they're every bit as good as the other top 25 teams in the country. They deserve probably some ranking there.
Well, we'll see. I'm sure the rankers are watching this game. I guess it's, you know, and Dana beats Drake University. That sounds pretty good and looks good. And of course, Westmar's beat Buena Vista too, and a good Midland school. But this game here, how this turns out, is going to have a lot to say while the rankings go.
I think we need a judge and a jury to decide how they're going to rule on this penalty. Still talking it over. Mimic apparently has been kicked out. Kelly McClintock, all indications are it's going to get a stay in the ball game. He, of course, was wrong in throwing the football, but you can hardly blame the reaction, I guess, as far as he's concerned.
No, and that's the tough thing. You know, you say, well, don't make those mental errors, but boy, somebody's ready to tear your head off. Why, it's tough to react right. You like to.
And if you've ever had one of those football helmets be yanked off your head, they pull on your ears a little, and it doesn't.
Oh yeah, it's hard to pull them off. Denny, with two hands, you got to pull them wide. I think his ears might be tipped north a little bit. But, they're still talking to both coaches now. I'm sure they want them to calm down a little bit and explaining how they're going to rule this one. I'm sure I would think it would be offsetting penalties with no yardage taken against either team, and they'll play it over again. But that's my guess. I don't know.
Well, one happened during the play, of course. One happened after the play, and all of this is on a two-point conversion too.
That's right. Yeah.
And Westmar is, of course, just 45 seconds away from getting the win and having the lead. They have scored twice now into the wind here this afternoon, and that could be a big factor in this ballgame before she's over.
That's right. So far, it's been the inability of Dana to move the ball this half with the win. I thought, boy, we can hold them to maybe one score with the wind, and right now there's only 45 seconds left. They will have the ball again, but I've been impressed with Westmar's defense. They've really put it on Alan Pogue's unit.
Well, the Tiger that Coach Mason sees, he enjoys these types of situation, and he's using it to all his benefit. He's going up and down that sideline and using it as a motivational factor to get his team ready to play football. His defense is going to have to breathe in fire after seeing that quarterback get
and they're going to have to. they're going to have to realize that Dana's going to come right back at them yet. They're going to get a little mad now. A few calls went against Westmar earlier and seemed to fire them up, and that's going to happen here now with Dana. And I wish they'd get the game going here. They've done a lot of talking now, and guys are going to get loose or get cold out there.
You know, it's such unfamiliar territory for these two schools and their programs to be in. A big game with some national ranking on the line. Neither one for so many years, the past decade, really had to think much about that.
No, especially the national rankings, and I guess Westmar might have a little more experience at success over the past years, but really the players that are on the field, neither one has. They've both experienced some success last year, and yeah, both teams want to win this. That's obvious. They like what they got, and they want to win it here.
Way to go, Rob! You really are!
I don't understand that, but I guess.
Well, they end up marking 15 out. They figured, I guess, kicking Mimic out of the game was going to be enough of a punishment for Dana, and then 15 yards for Kelly throwing the football back at Mimic after he had a helmet ripped off his head, and they're going to try the two-pointer from about the 17, 18-yard line. So,
yeah,
I don't know how to justify that.
Yeah, I would like to see the ruling on that, but Coach Maisel doesn't seem upset about it. They explained to him what they were doing.
Well, he didn't lose his quarterback, so I guess he's going to walk softly. Back to pass, rolling right, throwing for the end zone. Caught by Scotter! Boy, you don't lay it in there any better than that, Brownie.
That's right. At first look, I thought, well, he just threw it for anybody, but definitely had the man there and hit him and held on to it. The defender had him covered. The ball was kind of bobbled a little bit, but boy, big two-point conversion.
Kelly could have thrown a camel through a needle's eye with that throw.
That's right. That was a beauty, and it's sure fun to see him get some of those little plays kind of go their way. It was only for 2 points, I guess. It wasn't for a touchdown, but I think after all that happened, it's kind of like saying, take this one now. We're going to go ahead and get the 2 from 20 yards. We don't care.
Well, what that means is that a field goal will only tie now. And they've got the points, all but one of the points back to the extra point mishaps of the day. And boy, I guess that was worth waiting for. That was an exciting play.
That's right. That's fun to watch, and that's why we're here. We like to see those plays, and that's what we expect out of these two teams, these two offenses and quarterbacks.
Well, Jim McPartland going to tee it up on the right hash mark. Now this is the kind of football game, I guess, that we thought we were going to see. Some of the lot of emotion involved, some big plays, and that for the drive sequence was a two-play, 53-yard drive, and Hill covered the last 47 yards of the trip on the ground, and the two-pointer to Skolten, from McClinic to Skolten. So Charles with 2 touchdowns today, 3 for the season, 1 pass catching, and 2 via the ground. And of course, Pierce has a touchdown here today. He has 3 for the season, all on the ground. McPartland going to kick it off. Westmar with their first lead of the day at 20-17. It's a short kick. Going to be handled by one of the linemen at the 30, out at about the 40 and down to the 41-yard line. Tackle going to be made on the special team by Todd Peterson.
I think Kurt Westhoff made the initial hit. The submarine shot, I think, got the feet tossed, knocked out from under him, and someone else finished him up. But
Brent Wiesman made the kickoff return. Maybe one of the few he makes in his career.
That's right. He had the big old lineman gloves on. He reached out and grabbed that ball right out of the air. And I thought maybe he might bobble it, but he did what he was supposed to.
Well, this lit a fire in this ball game. 20-17, Westmar. 39 seconds to go in the third quarter, and that may be the turning point of this game. Dana going to be facing going into the wind for the rest of the afternoon in less than a minute. McLeod going to sack the quarterback. Oh, going to be taken down back at about the 29-yard line. Mark McLeod, call him Lyle, I guess. That's his nickname, and he comes across from that weak side defensive end and didn't let Pogue get outside.
Just got a hand on the back of a shirt or a shoulder pad or something, or got it around his neck and hauled him in. And boy, that's not what we expect to see out of Alan Pogue. Normally he's out running free, and he's the man that's going to have to run this team, and he sure can't do it in sack for 10 yards. And this Westmar defense is really rising to the occasion.
Randy Smazel's pacing in swipes of about 15-yard intervals. Pass downfield, going to be complete down there to Bortman by Pogue. Not enough for the first down and out of bounds with no time showing in the clock here in the third quarter. And Randy Smeasley got those veins pushed down on the side of his neck. He's ready for battle.
Yeah, I think he'd like to have pads on out there today, Danny, but I'm sure he likes what he's seeing right now. And Pogue, again, we saw, again, had the time there to make the pass. It's still shy of a first down, but they're going to play catch-up ball now. They're going to have to open their offense up, and they've got the man to run it.
Okay, we're going to the fourth quarter. It's 20-17 Westmar, and still have allowed but one touchdown in the second half of football this year. That was to Buena Vista in the opener. Played shutout football a week ago, and so far the defense has got tougher as this afternoon's gone on. Football being brought to you by Vern Anderson Equipment, Newble Chevrolet, Cruz and Cruz CPA, Sod's Bar and Grill, Bucky and Foxy's Highlight, Timmy's Cafe, Jean's Plumbing and Heating, Kitchens Incorporated, Pizza Hut, Hotop Jewelry, Taylor Auto, and Joe's Movie House and Appliance in Video City. Big thanks to you folks for giving us the ability to call Westmar football for you on Sunday nights here on Cable Channel 20. Next week we'll be on the road, the longest road trip of the year. The Saturday night game down at Crete. Back to Randy Smeasel's old stomping grounds against the Doane Tigers, and that's going to be a tough one. That's always a tough place to go down and win, and playing at night, and the long road trip and all, a lot of adversity. Dana going to start the fourth quarter at their own 44-yard line. Third down and about 3 to go for the first down. Robert Johnson kind of showing blitz. Came to Mushel. Mushel going to go down. Fumble. Pogue going to pick it up and carry upfield for first down yardage. And he's kind of throwing down rudely. That ball came shooting.
I don't think they can.
Field. You can't advance the fumble.
They can't advance a fumble. I can't. Coach Smeasel's on the field, but that's got to be called.
Shot out of the pile, and Pogue picked it up off the ground. They're going to give him the gain. I can't believe this. You can't advance a fumble in college football. He didn't catch it in the air, trickled back out to him, but they're going to give it to him. Coach Smeasel, I think, isn't going to push anything too far right now to the big
I don't know.
we had earlier, but that was definitely a fumble that rolled
maybe
out.
Defense can't. It could be a defense can't. I can't. Still have a rule book in front of me, but boy, that was Alan Pogue's job right there. Did a great job of running.
First and 10 at the 49 in Westmar Real Estate. Pogue going to go down. Robert Johnson had him in his sights. Pogue didn't allow him to have a good shot, but boy, that would have been a collision that Pogue would have felt all the way till next weekend.
He knew it.
Got a good shot on
He knew it. He just ducked and dove, and he didn't want to take that on because that's like running into a locomotive, and that's what Robert had in mind, too. He was going to put him out, but big defensive play. Got to flow outside, contained him, I guess. That's what we got to have. And had he not made that tackle or been there, I would have been free sailing up the sideline.
Football is such an emotional sport, isn't it?
Well, that's right.
This thing is swung.
This place here is packed with emotion. There's a lot of heartbeats going here, and this is exciting football.
Loss of 3 in a play at second down and 13 to go. Stewart in motion back toward the football. Hogan, he's going to be sacked again. Down he goes. McLeod was the first one there. Krotzel up off the bottom of the pile. Pogue's just seeing no time to throw it all. Westmar is really firing off the football.
That's right. They came with a stunt. Westhoff was in there, and I know Westhoff knows how to find the football. Well, they just outnumbered him there, and it's sure a turnaround from what we saw the first half. The protection really broke down.
13:40 to go in this football game. 20-17 Westmar. This is an aroused defensive football team, and Dana's going the wrong direction. They're back now at their own 39. They were in Westmar Real Estate once. Original line of scrimmage is the Westmar 49. Third and a mile to go. Back to pass. About 20 yards needed. Going to throw on the sidelines. Hardly enough for the first down. Got a player hurt. Guy that caught the ball, Robert Johnson, put the lick on him, and he's still down, face down. I think it was Barber. Nope, check it. There's Barber, so I'm not sure who that was. Bortman, maybe, who along the sideline made the catch.
Well, they had Frenchie Holmberg and Robert Johnson over there unloading on him. Both of them are in trouble if you got the ball, and he's down. And nice little pass by Pogue, but just not enough. Too much real estate to make up, and had to just go for the shorter one. And again, perfect defensive coverage. They knew what they had to, what they could allow, and that's all they gave them.
They got back to the original line of scrimmage, got about 10 on the play, and so it's 4th and 10. They'll have to punt the ball away into the wind, hoping to pin Westmar in the hole, and then the defense will be trying to force the turnover. That is Bortman that was hurt on the play. There's going to be a basketball coach down in Blair, Nebraska, a little upset because he's a pretty good basketball player on the basketball team in the wintertime. Still down, and we really could never catch a number clearly enough to identify it for sure. So we got an injury timeout on the play. with 13:17 to play in the ball game. It's 20-17 Westmar. Gives us a chance maybe to kind of cover the scoring if you haven't been with us from the start of this one. Everything started today on a 29-yard run, or 16-yard run by Mushel. Mushel then later scored another touchdown for the Vikings, and I guess they're set to go, so we'll recap that on another occasion. Welsh going to get one way into the wind as Safford catches on the run and goes down at the 31-32-yard line. Boy, that's pretty risky with the 2017 lead, but Westmar has really picked up the tempo on aggression.
That's right, and that's kind of what it stood out there. He said, I'm going to get this ball, and it probably saved him. I don't know, just his momentum. I don't know what the return was. He must have got 5 or 8 yards at least, and the ball might have rolled another 5 or 8, so it was a big play for him. I guess when it works, it doesn't. It's tough catching that, running up through there, and then sometimes the guy will break through, too, like that. The defenders, Dana didn't quite know where the ball was, but needless to say, he handled the ball, and there they go now.
13 minutes to go in the ball game. Kelly McClintock takes over at the 31-yard line with the wind to their back now. From the wishbone, they're going to get a Hill. Hill going to go right up the middle, and a nice lead block from Hobart, and they're going to stack him up at about the 35-yard line. Good for about 4 or 5. To get back to the sequence of the scoring, it was Mushel scoring first on about a 16-yard run. Then it was Pierce answering with a 14-yard run. The PAT was no good, 7-6. Then Mushel scored again on an 8-yard run. Wagner adding the point after. It was 14-6. Westmar came back and scored on a 15-yard run by Hill. The 2-point conversion was no good, and it was 14-12 at the half. Or excuse me, a field goal just before halftime made it 17-12 in favor of Dana. Westmar scores the only points of the second half. There's Hill carrying into the middle, but for nothing. In fact, he may have even lost a yard back at about the 35-yard line. The go-ahead touchdown, a 47-yard run by Charles Hill, and Shipley with a big downfield block sprung him for the root. The 2-point conversion pass to Skolton by McClintock, and here we are, 20-17. This is the only lead Westmar's had here this afternoon, and with the wind to the back, you got to like their odds as they have really scrapped one out here against a good Dana ball club, probably the best Dana's had in years. Got to go back probably a quarter of a century since they've had football like this at Dana, back into the 60s. Back to pass, going for Skolton. Picked off. Steve Craig, the free safety, going to make the interception. And it'll be Dana's ball at the 36-yard line. So Kelly threw to a guy that was triple teamed and paid the price for it.
That's right, and Kelly, watching him walk off, was really extended and got hit just as he released the ball. He got the ball away clean, but boy, he's walking off pretty gingerly.
He's still not completely healed. In fact, after the Minna Vista game, doctors said 2 weeks of healing and maybe 3 weeks before you're really going to be sound again, and that's complete rest, and it's only been a week.
Yeah, he's got to be playing with some pain out there, and I'm sure he might have aggravated it there, or else he's going to have a sore rib. But we could also call that a good punt, too.
Alan Pogue got the football team down, goes to Mushel. Mushel with a running lane off tackle to the Dana left side. And Westhoff finally wrestles him down, but downfield after about a 6-7 yard gain. Carries to about the 44-yard line. Going to be gain of 8. Second down at about 8 to go, or second down about 2 to go. Under the 12-minute mark here in the fourth and final quarter of this one.
It's interesting how the Westmar couldn't move with the wind either. I guess we just will forget the wind today, Danny. It seems like the teams are going into it are the ones that got the momentum.
Does take away that passing weapon a little bit out of the power I formation. Second down and 2, going to go to Mushel again. Mushel going to be hit at the line of scrimmage and then kind of backs his way upfield for close to first down yardage. Going to get about 1.5 yards, almost the 2 needed, as he got out over the 45 about the 46-yard line. Well, they're thinking field goal probably initially here, but a touchdown after a long drive could turn the momentum back again. I don't think we've seen the last of the scoring here this afternoon.
Well, I wouldn't think so, but I guess I haven't figured this game out yet hardly the way I haven't gone the way I thought it has, but yeah, I would assume someone's going to get some more points here. There's still 10 minutes to go, and that's plenty of time.
Going to stretch the chains, and there you can see they are short by, I suppose, a foot or a foot and a half. And it's going to bring up a fourth down. Boy, this is going to be a big play. trailing
Yeah,
20-17, the way the momentum's gone, it might be a gamble to go for in your own territory here.
Yeah, I think they'll have to. I thought it was third down, but I guess I'm off.
It is third down,
Yeah,
you're right.
Okay.
They changed the sticks back again. They had a wrong of the down marker across the way. So they switch it back to third, so it's third and about a foot and a half to go for the first down. Westmar stacked up in there. Oh, somebody moved early on the left side. Jay Limas, 260-pound guard out of Omaha, Nebraska, going to be penalized for a premature movement off the football, and that'll make it a whole different story now, 3rd and 6.
You bet. Those are those mistakes that you hate to have. Westmar lined up with blitzing linebackers, and they didn't try and hide it. Robert Johnson was lined right up there stunting, and I think those linemen were looking at him. They got to kind of change their assignments, and the lineman didn't quite have center snap on his mind and made the big mistake.
Wildering comes in with a play, and Bobby Bolden checks out of there. Split receivers out to the left side. They're going to split the backs. That's kind of the passing formation on 3rd and 6, and Poe going to roll to the left. Run pass option, 40, 45, 50. Got a first down to the Westmar 45-yard line downfield. And they just ran him out, and I think running was first on his mind, but if he saw a receiver open, he was going to go for that too.
That's right, Danny. They had that block for him to run outside. There were hook blocks on the outside ends, and it was almost like a sweep setup. He could have passed, but I don't think he had much pass in mind. I don't know if it was a set pattern, but I saw the blocking line of scrimmage, and that was definitely to spring him wide.
Kind of cocked the arm, maybe to drive the backs back just a little bit.
Yeah.
Another 5-yard cushion, but he had run on his mind pretty much from the very snap of the football. 1st and 10 now with the sun shining brightly at the Westmar 45. Big drive going here for the Vikings. That was a big play. Pogue back to pass again. Got some time. Throws back across the green of Barber. 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. Barber from 45 yards away. Well, we've seen the misdirection patterns quite frequently here today, and there was another one.
Well, there was a defender. I didn't see who it was, but I saw him slip and go down when the pass was thrown, and would have liked to have that defender out there, but that's right. Again, the quarterback had time to throw and find that backside man open. And again, it's the tight end. Big touchdown for him.
23-20. Well, that's a big extra point now. It'll make the difference whether a field goal will tie or whether it's going to take the touchdown to get that lead back again. And the point after is going to be tried by Jade Wagner. Flag going to go down. I think that's going to be against the Vikings. Somebody moved a little earlier. Yep, a little legal procedure on some early movement up front.
It's too bad because I think the kick missed, Denny. It sure didn't look like it was good to me. The guy that caught it ran way over there, and the whistle was blown before it was a live play, but now they'll have another chance. I think he missed it there.
Kind of wonder if there wasn't the kicker looked like he was going through the motion early, almost maybe as if the snap count was wrong.
Yeah, I don't know. The guard I could see stood up and went into his position really way early. I can see why the ref blew the whistle, but somebody was sure off.
Anderson going to spot it. Wagner going to kick it. This one is up, and the wind takes it far left. It is no good. So the penalty made a difference. 23-20. Westmar could catch him with a field goal. And, of course, the touchdown would put him back in front again. 9:57 to go in this ball game. And Westmar's going to have to regroup again now with the wind at their back and go to work downfield. And I guess it'll be interesting to see now how damaging that blow to Kelly McClintock was there right on that interception.
That's right. He's looking like he's going to go in, but sometimes a bruise or sore rib just makes that arm a little weak or something, and they're going to have to rely on him. He's going to have to suck it up and try and produce for him.
That was a 4-play, 64-yard drive for Dana, and I guess you expect an All-American quarterback to make the big plays for you when the game's on the line. Pogue with a big scramble for the first down, and then the big pass play back across the green to Barber.
That's right, and of course the scramble was the important one. They had a 3rd and 6 or 7. It looks like Westmar could have held them back, and he got the big first down and kept their drive going.
Kickoff is going to be fielded by Skolton back at about the 20, 25, out across the 30, and out of bounds finally across the 35 on 36-yard line. Well, the kickoffs are not deep, but you don't get much of a run back either when you squib them like that.
No, and that one went off to the side and kind of threw the blocking scheme up. They didn't. It's still good field position. They'll take it any time at the 36.
Yeah, I was going to say, most teams are happy when they get it out over the 30, so
Yep.
Westmar's out at the 36, and they're looking at 64 yards of real estate to maybe regain this lead. Kelly McClintock's back out there, quarterback. Those blue high tops pretty recognizable, so they didn't KO him anyway on that last hit, but he was stung a little. Back to pass, rolling left. Now he's going to run it. He'll get to the 40 or 35 and go down about the 36. So I guess that's the answer there, whether he's hurt or not. He calls his own number right away.
That's right. He should put it back upfield, but it's not the kind of play he wanted. And he did get back to the line of scrimmage, I guess, or maybe a little lost, but they want positive yards here. Just to get a good sustained drive going.
No gain in the play. Second down, 10 to go with 9:25 to play in this football game. Hobart out, Kelvin Pierce in there. Give him a little more speed in the backfield, and of course makes him a eligible pass receiver. They like to throw to him on the swings. Splits the backs wide, split receivers to both sides. There's to get a Hill. Hill picking a spot on the line of scrimmage, nothing there. And there's a fumble upfield. Vikings have got it. And there's the big turnover that could be one big one in this ball game.
That's right. They've had two real tough fumbles already, and this is the second one now. And first one, right at the start of the second half, stopped a big drive they had. That's a tough break. Charles trying to go for that extra yard and had the ball loose and jarred it free.
Yeah, the Vikings going to take over just inside the Westmar 40-yard line. Boy, the defense going to have to really bow their necks now and stiffen up.
That's right. They're going to have to stop them right away.
Charles fumbled a couple of times down at Midland last weekend. It just doesn't like him to turn the ball over. He was fighting for the extra yards. Somebody pried it out of there and shot upfield. Going to go to Mushel. Mushel going to carry for about a yard. Get back to that Hill fumble. That was pretty close to almost being a dead ball, but just a split second before they would have whistled it dead.
Yeah, he was just making his final lunge forward as he went down on the arm. Kind of came out like he was passing it, kind of to get his balance, and the ball came free.
Got a Viking down hurt, back upfield. He was trying to set a downfield block, one of those wide receivers, so they're going to help him up to, no, check it, it's one of the linemen downfield. Ken Sliva, the starting offensive center, went downfield to try and set a downfield block, and he's going to trot off under his own abilities, so I think he'll be back. Just got stung a little bit. A little cool for a Charlie horse, I guess, so I don't think that's the problem.
Yeah, it's hard to say. He twisted something, I guess, but he sure ran off under pretty good pressure, so I think, or steam there. He'll be back, I would guess.
23-20. It's Dana by 3 with the football, trying to cash in on their second straight turnover. They cashed in the interception for 6. Up the middle, Mushel almost got loose into the secondary for the big one. And a touchdown saving tackle going to be made by free safety Frenchie Holmberg. If he hadn't got him, it'd have been 6 more.
That's right. They really kind of made it look like they were coming outside with the option or something and really slashed it back up the middle, but it's still third down.
Third down and a long 2 to go for the first down. Football sitting at the Westmar 32-yard line. Big defensive play coming up here for the Eagles. They've got to shut this down. Vikings leading by 3, and we're going to be inside the 8-minute mark at the snap of the football. Power I formation going to Mushel. Mushel's going to get the first down as he blasts inside the 30 at about the 28-yard line. Going to get about 3 or 4. Had to carry it about the 29, and he just, whoa, when they respotted, he may not have got it. Well, they give it to him. Boy, I'd like to see that stretched up there again. Yeah, they're going to give it to him without a measurement. He didn't get it by much.
No, I guess they got a little better view out there. It was awful close, and they're going to try and grind it out here. Westmar's going to have to stop this first down play.
1st and 10. Pogue has got him on the move again. He's starting to become a factor in this ball game. Boys beginning to be reminiscent of last year's ball game, and they rallied late to win in the 4th quarter. Flag goes down. Could be a holding. Going to go up the middle again to, well, check it. It's not Mushel this time. I believe Scott Wagner carried the ball this time. And the penalty will go against the Vikings. Catch the preliminary signal.
I just missed it. I would guess a hold. They're walking more than 5 yards, so.
But it's going to be a tough penalty for the Vikings to see if Westmar can make it work for them. Patrick Walden going to check out of there for the Eagles, and they're going to get Brad T. Krotzel in there, so they're going to get their nickel back in and look for some little pass protection. And again, Chad Shook out of there, so they're going to maybe put 6 defensive backs in there. Holding the call from the 39, fires upfield, incomplete, intended for Stewart. And coming up to put a good lick on, I believe, was Krotzel. So it's going to bring up a second down at about 20 to go now.
Must have just plain missed on that one because he sure set and threw a dart upfield like he had the man right where he wanted him, but it was sure off the target.
Getting into the wind, it kind of made it sail a little bit.
That's right. Nose goes up and it kind of just hangs out there.
7:27 to go. Westmar can just stop him here and get the football back. They'll have time for a nice long drive, and maybe they can get some points at the end of it. Trailing by 3. Back to pass. Pogue takes a look. All kinds of time. Throws for Bortman, and that's going to be incomplete. So Bortman must not have been the guy hurt a little bit ago. Joey Holmberg come up and put a lick on, but again, the pass was behind the receiver. Pogue's got time to set and throw.
That's right. He's really throwing hard. He's setting and just like he's throwing fastballs out there, and he really wouldn't have had to do that out there. I guess he's feeling the wind in his face, but that's right. He's the passer. He's the guy we came to see and worried about, but he's missed these last 2 men. He's going to have to give it one more try here.
He's kind of throwing Dwight Gooden fastballs right now, isn't he? From the shotgun, back to pass on 3rd and 20. Taking a look. Now he's scrambling. He's loose, 40, 35. Somebody put a good lick on him. 4 people converge and take him down at about the 31-yard line. Not even back to the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th and about 12. Well, I don't know who had a chance to take him down about 5 yards further back upfield, but they
Kevin Westhoff put the big shot on him and just missed. I saw him walking upfield shaking his head. Pogue is slippery. He can make those little quick side steps and avoid them, but Kevin had the beat on him.
A quarterback like this can really make a defensive player frustrated through an afternoon game.
Oh, that's right. So many times he puts the big move on, and you really got to just watch his number and not watch the fakes, and he's so quick.
Especially a big hitter like a Kurt Westhoff or a Robert Johnson.
That's right.
Yeah, they are going to punt it. They'll try and pooch it down out of bounds probably and try and pin Westmar in a hole. 6:28 left to go in the ball game. Westmar coming naturally for the block, and he got away a real short kick, but it will be non-returnable and will roll dead at about the 12, 11-yard line. So I guess it was effective. They wanted to pin him inside the 15 for sure. Almost got it inside the 10, and the Eagle offense gets a little help from the rooting section. It's time to show your stuff now. That's a veteran offensive team, and it's time to put together a nice long march.
That's right. That's obviously what they're going to have to do now. They got about 89 yards to go, but hats off to defense. They did a great job there and stopped that drive and got the ball back in the offense hands. There's plenty of time, but they can't make any mistakes.
Now holding penalty, obviously a big part of that stop there for Westmar. Dana hurting themselves on 1st down with the holding penalty. Now we see Dan Oswald now with the pads off here on the sideline. He was the one that hurt the shoulder earlier. Back to pass. McClintock fires to Shipley, incomplete. Boy, he was wide open too, and Kelly just fired that a little high and hard.
That's right, and that's maybe thrown with the wind. That's might have got a fingertip on it, but that was it. He was definitely open, and it would have been a big 1st down for him, but they'll maybe try it again later.
Shipley, of course, made a leaping catch like that down at Fremont last weekend and set up a scoring opportunity for Westmar inside the 5-yard line. Chip's got probably the best hands of all the receivers, and he's probably as capable of going up one-handed and pulling one down as anybody in the ball club. Shipley going to come out of there. Neil Hall checks in for that tight end play. Going to go to the wishbone set. Going to go to Hobart. Hobart juggled the handoff a little bit, and he'll go down at about the 13-yard line. Kind of missed the hole. It was a little further outside than as he hit into the line, Browning.
That's right, and of course that fullback is going for power in there, and they hope for a few more yards than that. That puts a lot of pressure on this 3rd down call.
3rd and 8 coming up. Rob White going to check into the play. 5:52 to go, and time going to become a factor here pretty soon.
That's right. You'd hate to have him go for 4th down here and this far down, but we'll hope they can get the 1st down here.
Westmar trying to rally back, regaining the lead, going up 20-17. Timeout going to be taken, I believe, as Westmar didn't have the right personnel on there. Hobart going to trot out of there, and they needed Hobart in the play, I think. So there was a smart decision by Kelly McClintock and Kelvin Pierce They realized they didn't have all the people on there they wanted. They were short a man, and they took the timeout, but it could be a costly usage of a timeout.
That's right. They sure might want that one later on. It gets on down into the end of the quarter here, but I guess you like to go with 11 guys when the ball is snapped. So at least they caught it before it was too late.
Saw a battle here, especially in the second half. Third quarter belonged almost entirely to Westmar, and now here.
Adjusted their play call, 3rd down and 8. They've got Hobart and Hill in the backfield. Kelvin Pierce out of there, and he's one of their primary targets out of the backfield. They want their best blockers back there. Kelly with good protection over the middle, incomplete. Nobody was even there. I think Skolton was supposed to run kind of a post pattern, and he just didn't get to where the ball was.
Yeah, I couldn't understand what there was. There was 3 receivers out in the pattern. One did slip down there a little bit, Skolton, but sure you want to see a better shot at it than that.
Dennis going to get the ball now in pretty good field position, unless Rob White really bangs one out of here with the wind at his back. 23-20. Dana by 3 with 5:27 to go. Keep in mind the 3-point difference makes it only a field goal that you got to get to at least tie it. There's never been a tie in this series in the 34-game history. White going to get away a honey, and it's going to drive Bobby Bolton back to the 39, 40, 45. Look out, he's got a running lane. 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, and upended at about the 27-yard line. Ouch, Brownie, that hurt.
That's right. They had coverage on him, real good coverage to begin with, but players are going a little too fast and weren't under control, and he put a couple moves on and got a block and broke to the outside, and boy, that was probably 30, 35 yards. He returned that ball, and that's just not what Westmar can have.
Trent Quick and Wayne Spearing were down there, had the punt pretty well covered, but then he got away from Trent Quick. Quick, kind of an interesting story. We were talking to Coach about him just this past week on the specialty teams. We'll elaborate on that story here in a little bit. The Vikings up to the line of scrimmage now, 1st and 10 for the Westmar 28, and they can put this thing out of range with a score here. Pogue going to go to Bolton. Bolton is going to carry to the 20. Fumble. Westmar's got it, I believe. Are they going to call him down, though? They may rule no fumble. One says yes, one says no. Westmar definitely got on it. Mike Rogers falls on the pigskin, but it looks like they're going to give it a Bolton. That was a quick whistle, Browning.
Boy, that was, Denny, and I think it was one of those calls where I don't know what to call. What do you want to call? And since no one calls anything, they don't call anything. And well, that's too bad. They spotted it where the ball was recovered, and that was wrong, too. So I don't know.
That's a funny call after Bolton just ran a long punt return to give it to him right away. He's got to be winded after the long punt return. Yet they give it to him right up the pike. 2nd down at about 3 to go. There's to get a Mushel. Mushel going to fend off one man. Oswald runs him down after all. So Oswald had the shoulder pads off on the sideline a little bit ago, but he still is back in there playing some football.
Late flag thrown. It looks like it's going to be a personal foul, and that's what Westmar can't do now.
Now to get back to the Trent Quick story, Coach was telling me this week at the Eagle Eager Backers that Trent was a kid they really didn't have in their plans much for this year, a freshman kid, but went over to Wayne for the scrimmage just before the season opener, the week before the season opener. He played so well on special teams over there that he won a spot for himself. It was just like Coach says, okay, you're out, Quick, you're in.
That's right. Well, that's what coaches, it's got to be one of the fun things of college football, and see who's going to come up, who's going to come to the front and take on and challenge these starting positions. And it's got to be fun to watch some of them young kids work in. And those guys can do it if they work hard enough. And like you mentioned, the special teams are so important. You got to prove you want to play football anytime you're on the field. And that's what he did, and he's getting his reward.
Not a very big kid, but he has not exactly played himself out of the lineup. He's been a consistency on those specialty teams, always the first man down there. 1st and 10 after the penalty. Mushel going to go airborne. Oswald takes him down. Boy, it's really paramount now. The defense at least saves them to saves this to a field goal anyway. Can change it to that.
Yeah, the game would about be shut out if they got a touchdown here. They just can't allow that. And these personal fouls, they had a 3rd down and 4 there and gave it a